nigga high as a motherfucker, by the way. Let me go fast forward. I am the nigga, young Galt. This high ass nigga.
They don't dance no more. It's all about the lean. Back in the day, crack was jumping on the scene. Now they slumped on the sidewalk. Can't talk. Golden era baby, but we still feel the rock. They used to be kings, now they lost in the scheme. Popping them bottles, throwing money, living dreams. Now they zoned out and mumbling, fumbling. No rhythm in the city, the whole shit crumbling. They used to rock the house, they was riding through the streets. Remember there was dancing, sliding to the beat. Now it's poison in their veins, ain't no pulse on the street. Guess it's over now, they accepted defeat. Back in the day, the rock had a wild and free. Different story now, they got no energy. New drugs got them slow with the hit unload. Out close and they don't dance no more. Block used to be jumping, top shit they was on. Now it's lights out, guess the thrill is gone.
I am the nigga, young Galt. I bring it to your rough, rugged, and raw, nigga.
They don't dance no more, it's all about the codeine. Back in the day, they was rocking on the scene. Even dancing in the rain. Now they nodding off. Shit just don't hit the same.
I am that nigga, young Galt. Yeah, man, damn, I didn't know they making $4,000 a month.
Yeah, especially them homies with like families and kids because they got pressure to make more money.
Yeah.
Hey, them, you see them Hispanics on the road, trust.
The Hispanic guys,
They make bang.
is that, you know, particularly if you're sharing a bathroom,
Yeah.
that you're able to get along well with other people.
I would
If
choose
that makes
Grace.
sense.
I would choose Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I understand that.
so it's good that you mentioned that. You say you're going into the military?
Yeah.
Right.
Entry program. So once they test you, you swear you have you waiting.
You done boot camp already, or you waiting to go to boot camp?
I'm waiting to go to boot camp. My brother is actually already in boot camp right now.
And you say you're Kenyan? That's interesting.
I'm American, but I grew up in Kenya.
You grew up in, wait a minute, but are you African? I'm just getting an idea. So interesting. So how old are you?
With Grace.
29.
29. In the Air Force, what's going to be your MOS?
So that's what I'm waiting for.
Well, you'd have to have been.
But I have a job list right now.
That means me.
And where are you working right now?
Having a baby.
Do you deliver by Clyde motor scooter bike? It's cheaper. You probably get better orders. What do? You hang around downtown where the best orders are?
Street, NODC, the back of my hand right now.
All the hot areas. Hey, do you make pretty good money? What? You on a bike?
It would be like 1,500, 1,700 a week.
Really?
No, minimum would be like 800.
Really? Just delivering food. How many orders are you delivering any given day?
I rolled the dice on that one.
That would be like 9 hours of work.
You get tips and stuff or what? Really? Damn, that ain't bad right there if you getting tips, bro. That's a good deal, man. If you getting tips, that ain't bad. If you getting tips on that.
Really, I'm trying to be in the Air Force, so it's just like a side gig, you feel me?
Yeah, man, damn, I didn't know they making $4,000 a month.
Yeah, especially them homies with families and kids because they got pressure to make more money. Hey, we see them Hispanics on the road, trust.
The Hispanic guys
They make bang.
doing Uber Eats.
Uber Eats and DoorDash.
Which one pays more?
I don't know about that.
But both of them pay pretty well, though. So why do you do Uber Eats? Because it pays pretty well?
I had the DoorDash for Uber Eats, but the app is just better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then everybody's on DoorDash, so I figured that Uber Eats would have a better opportunity.
Really? Get out of here, man. $1,000 a week. Damn, that ain't bad. Do you get you get tips and everything too?
Yeah, tips, especially if you have good service, smile. Just be more, I try to just be more sociable. Them tips, they go up with a smile and a hello.
But are you delivering food directly to the people? These are apartment buildings, right?
But it depends. It could be like some orders where people just want you to drop it off at the door or want you to give the food to them in hand. Yeah, it depends really.
Damn. So Damn, I always wonder. I live in Southeast, man. All these brothers over here, why they don't just do that shit? They find them a job doing that shit.
You'll just come up here and work this job.
Why you think they don't do it?
It's just the information, bro. Information.
You think that's what it is?
You just don't test it, they know. Or they're probably working at opportunities. It could be illegal on some crime shit, but it has more money. It's a bit tough. Like if a YN is making like 10K 2 days, he's not interested in making.
You think some of these YNs making that kind of money?
Oh, bro, trust.
Doing what?
I don't know. I know what I know, and they know what they know. So they are into some. Because hey, bro, some of them they also trying to elevate. They're not trying to be. Yeah. So.
But damn, so you think that how much you think the Hispanics making riding them scooters and bikes and shit?
Say that again.
How much you think the Hispanics are making riding them bikes, delivering orders?
Bro, I don't know, but some of them gotta be pushing 6-7K because I see some of them all day. Come rain, come sunshine, they out there.
Damn.
And they ain't really got no other option. You know? The only thing on their mind is just to maximize their earning potential, and then hopefully their kids can take them to the next level from this.
Yeah, it's very impressive to see them people out there working, man. I will say that. Hey, what kind of bike do you ride?
I ain't gonna lie, I had a scooter that was recently stolen. It was a 49cc type of scooter. Some dude took it from me. What the fuck?
Damn. So what you riding now?
I'm trying to book a rental bike. They have these rental bikes that you could book for like
200 a month.
Have you seen the Whiz bikes?
Yeah, Whiz. That's what you ride?
That's what I want to pick up. I had a scooter that someone took from me. Right now, I'm trying to pick up a Whiz bike. In fact, I'm picking up a Whiz bike on Monday. I'm looking to move into either of your units on Sunday.
With the Whiz bikes, would they go real fast or something?
Them bikes are perfect, bro.
No shit. Or you only have to pedal and shit. You don't have to pedal them, huh? Man, that's cool, man. Yeah.
So let me text you and you can send me.
I'm charging the chicken just for the verse again.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I want to play. I'm gonna do my.
Like, what creates a John Galt, bro? Like how does that even happen?
It just really disturbs me, man.
That I was the lone voice of truth, and people like you were willing to cower to the violence of the niggers. You said this today. The only John Galt of all the niggers that saw the degenerate behavior of the blacks, you said I was the only nigger that spoke up while you and others saw it.
Yeah.
But we're not saying anything. That's
right.
Correct, right? You saw
Absolutely.
it. You saw everything I saw.
Yeah, I read it. He tapped it and said it.
He saw everything I saw.
Mm-hmm.
He did not say anything. He also said, no matter how many times did them violent packs of niggers whoop my ass, they couldn't shut me up. Correct, Red?
Nope.
Correct, Red?
You listen. You
Yes,
just
yes or
like
no?
you ain't heard nothing that I said.
Could those violent pack of niggers shut me up? As many times as those violent packs of niggers that you just described to the panel attacked me, did they ever shut me up?
Nope.
Red?
Who gonna talk shit?
I'm asking you a question.
I'm not gonna be the person to talk shit every day to a motherfucker.
I asked you a question. I asked you a question. Why? So you say you're not the type of person that would talk shit that would lead to your ass getting whooped. So the implication is that the shit that I was talking led to my ass getting whooped every day.
Right.
Yeah.
And I kept talking that shit, correct?
And you catching ass whoopings every day.
So
I've been doing it all my life.
So we asked this low IQ nigger a question, and he. I am John Galt, the urban landlord. I hope you were able to hear the preview here. Sometimes StreamYard, you never know how it works out. I was thinking about what makes a John Galt, and I don't know if you guys every now and then damn, my wall is all scratched up. And one of these days, I'm going to take it all down and do a kind of update of the studio here. One of the things every now and then, I've read a lot of books over the years. I don't talk about them as much as other people do. But one of the books that made an impression on me was Revolt Against Civilization. What is it? I forget the title now. I have it up there. I read the book years ago. And so what I wanted to do was focus on this book. This guy actually wrote quite a few books. And I guess before we get started, how many people have read this book? The Revolt Against Civilization, The Menace of the Underman by Lothrop Stoddard. How many of you have read this book? This is The Revolt Against Civilization, The Menace of the Underman by Lothrop Stoddard. How many of you have read this book? I see you coming there, big dog. Hey, the blacks do not want to allow free speech, bro. They will attack you for free speech. And so, which, more or less goes into line with what I'm talking about here. The Revolt Against Civilization, The Menace of the Underman. Has anyone read the book? We only have 10 people right now. Hopefully, as more people pile in. I started to stream a little early. How many people have read the book or even heard of the book, The Revolt Against Civilization, The Menace of the Underman by Lothrop Stoddard? And if you're noticing, I got a little grass on my glasses here. I've been cutting grass all day. These are not Versace glasses. But this is tequila. And we're going to go for a couple hours. And so, again, I'll start off with how many people have even heard or read the book Revolt Against Civilization, The Menace of the Underman? I'll give you time to come in the chat. It's a very interesting book. I read this book years ago, so I want to know if you guys have heard of anything like that. You let me know. It's Lothrop Stoddard. He's actually written a couple of books. And as we go through it, what I'm going to do is show you a couple of highlights from the book that I read. These are highlights from the actual book. I read it online on my phone years ago. And so I'm going to show you some of the highlights from the book that stood out to me. I was talking to my buddy Philippe, and he reminded me of this, and this is what spawned the title, spurred the title. So we'll go through some of that. But how many of you I saw it, I'll get around to that. I don't know if you heard the preview. We had a McNamara's Folly on the preview here. A 29-year-old black man, he called me. He's actually Kenyan American, born in America, but he's Kenyan by background, and he's headed to the Air Force. So again, another McNamara's Folly there. But what was interesting about his phone call, and you didn't hear all of the phone call, and maybe I'll play a little bit more of it, play some of it. But this is the African guy, and he was talking about, he basically checked in with me. And at the beginning of the phone call, you hear something like this. And let me get it to the right point.
You got pressure to make more money.
Yeah.
Hey, them, you see them Hispanics on the road, trust.
The Hispanic guys,
They make bang.
is that, particularly if you're sharing a bathroom,
Yeah.
that you're able to get along well with other people.
I would
If
choose
that makes
Grace.
sense.
I would choose Grace.
Yeah. So
Understand that.
so it's good that you mentioned that. You say you're going into the military?
Yeah.
Right.
Entry program. So once they test you, you swear
But
you have you
so-
waiting.
You done boot camp already, or you waiting to go to boot camp?
I'm waiting to go to boot camp. My brother is actually already in boot camp right now.
And you say you're Kenyan? That's interesting.
To help it.
I'm American, but I grew up in
You
Kenya.
grew up in. Wait a minute. But are you African? I'm just getting the idea. So interesting. So how old are you?
With Grace.
29.
29. In the African, there's McNamara's Follies there, going into the military. Anyway, so it led me You know, my buddy Felipe called me today, and he was talking about what was it? The Revolt Against Civilization. So again, we're going to cover some of the quotes from the book, and then we're going to cover the Rick Chow South Carolina versus Rick Chow case. Some very, very interesting testimony in that trial. And again, this is the point I'm making about this in pointing out the Rick Chow case. And Master Kim and I, we're going to do a stream on Monday. Master Kim, you know, shares some similarities with Rick Chow. He's Asian background. His family worked in the stores similar to what Rick Chow did. So he faced a lot of the hostility from the blacks by running a ghetto grocery store in the in a ghetto community. The blacks won't do it for themselves, so the immigrants step up to do it. So it's a very, very interesting case. I think the guy's guilty. I will say that. Unlike Chud the Builder, I think the guy's guilty, but it's a very interesting case. And, you know, we talked about it, Be Brave and I, we talked about it from the standpoint of how it's driving people insane. Master Kim and I will talk about it from the standpoint of the business owner, the guy who's behind the counter dealing with these black people. And he's Asian, so he's going to talk to you from the Asian perspective of what it's like dealing with blacks in the ghetto and running a business. And one of the things he mentioned to me was the golden handcuffs of the business. And I said, what do you mean, Master Kim? He said, so I'm Asian. The people that are looking to do business in these ghettos are Indians and Arabs, and they're not of my culture. And so they're looking to lowball me. And the Chinese guy, you'll hear in some of the testimony, we're going to cover this case. I'm going to try to cover it extensively. That this guy had used this store as kind of a leap, like a stepping stone for his children. You heard that in the African guy where he said the immigrants are out here driving Uber, and it's like they're doing it for their children. And so here's this guy running a ghetto corner store, but his son had gone off to be a software developer. And so they struck a chord with me. But yet he's volunteering with his dad on the weekends in this ghetto corner store. This is the immigrant model. And so that's some of the things we'll cover in the stream. But what do I want to cover first? What I want to cover first, a couple things I saw here, again, along with the black and brown, before we get into the Revolt Against Civilization. Here is a couple of quotes that I saw. A couple of Twitter. I'm going to go down my Twitter stream a little bit. Here's one of the first things I saw on Twitter. I think this was in Ohio. And so the NAACP of the blacks or whatever were trying to have some kind of coalition. And the guy says black and brown with the NAACP sweatshirt. And you'll see him say this here.
The numbers, what we can have is that solidarity, because our cause are our cause. So we all know that we want to be able to eat. You know, we should all be able to eat, to flourish, to be able to be happy in this city. And so whatever that looks like to you is what needs to be communicated to the powers that be.
Solidarity with whom? Could you describe who need to be in solidarity with? I'm confused.
For me, that's black and brown people throughout the city. Well, I'm not sure what the issue is there. If it's a numbers game, we're at the same problem.
And that was the black people booing the guy when him trying to say, hey, we need to form a black and brown coalition. I think politically, the blacks have been able to form coalitions with the blacks and the browns or whatever that may work politically. But economically, I don't think that's working. And that is what I think the black disagreement that you saw there in that video. Again, so back to the Revolt Against Civilization, Lothrop Stoddard. Again, these are going to be quotes. Strictly, this is John Galt's quotes here from when I actually read the book. These are the quotes that stood out to me. Here's the first quote. And if anyone wants to come up, we're going to just be a little back and forth here. I'll put the link in the chat. We bring you up and down. You come up if you want to comment on this. Here's one of the first quotes that I highlighted in the book that I read. This was years ago. And this is Lothrop Stoddard. We have already remarked that the more the underman realizes the significance of the new biological revelation, the uglier grows his mood. Science having stripped away its sentimental camouflage, the social revolution would depend more and more upon brute force, relying upon the materialism of numbers and racial impoverishment to achieve final victory. Again, that is one of the first quotes from Lothrop started that I highlighted there, and I'm curious to know what you guys' thoughts on that is. But again, this is a Lothrop started and what makes it John Galt, and these are some of the quotes from the book that I'm going to highlight here. And here is another quote from the book again. Lothrop started, and I'm just going in order, no particular order, just as I'm reading the book. These are some of the quotes, and we probably won't get through them all as we go through them here. And so here's another one. This is, again, Lothrop Stoddard, and I'm just putting them up here as I highlighted them going through the book. And again, Lothrop Stoddard, and I'm putting them on Twitter. So if you're interested in seeing them on Twitter, you can. Here's your next quote, and here he's talking about, give me 1 second. So here's the next quote, and here's Lothrop Stoddard. And here's another quote from the book. And I'll zoom in for those of you on your phones. Maybe I can't zoom in. And he says, an abundant weight of evidence proves that during the entire historic period, at any rate, mankind has made no racial progress in either physical power or brain capacity. The skeletal remains of the ancients show them to have possessed brains and bodies fully equal to our own. And these anatomical observations are confirmed by the researchings of history. The earliest civilized peoples of whom we have any knowledge displayed capacities, initiative, and imagination quite comparative to ours. And again, this is Lothrop Stoddard talking about the revolt against civilization. And he's talking about, the whites and the blacks and the incompatibility of the two. And this is, again, a book that I read, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. And here's another quote from Lothrop Stoddard. Give me 1 second. Let me post this on Twitter. And this is another interesting quote. Before we get into the Rick Chow trial, I did want to cover a couple of these quotes from Lothrop Stoddard. This is what makes a John Galt. And here's another quote from Lothrop Stoddard. Again, this is a quote from John Galt. As I was reading the book, these are the highlights as you can see them in the iBooks or Apple Books or whatever the hell they call it. The glitter of civilization has so blinded us to the inner truth of things that we have long believed that as a civilization progress, the quality of the human stock concerning building it progress too. In other words, we have imagined that we saw an improving race, whereas all we actually saw was a race expressing itself under improving conditions. This is very interesting. Again, this is Lothrop Stoddard, a book that John Galt read many, many years ago. I could have named myself Lothrop Stoddard instead of John Galt. And the blacks probably would have thought this was my real name. That was my real name just the same. But these are books. This is a book that I read. And he wrote other books as well. But these are some of the highlights. And I'll let that sink in for you guys, the dim-witted amongst you. Let that sink in what Lothrop Stoddard is saying here. he's saying improving conditions does not improve a particular race. And so that is the inner truth of things, that we alone believe that as the civilization progressed, the quality of the human stock concerned in building it progressed too, but it doesn't always happen equally. And this is what, again, Lothrop Stoddard is saying. And here's a half of a quote, and we'll cover it the other half. And I'm posting this again to Twitter as we go. And this is The Making of John Galt. This is a book that I read, and I got to ask you guys, how many of you have read this book or even heard of this book? This is Lothrop Stoddard, The Revolt Against Civilization, The Revolt Against the, what is it? I forget the Revolt of the Underman. And these are quotes from the book, seen from John Galt's eyes as I read the book. Here's another quote. This is the irreparable character of racial impoverishment. Once its stock has been thoroughly drained of its superior strains, it sinks into permanent mediocrity and can never again either create or support a high civilization. Physically, the stock may survive. Unfortunately for human progress, it only too often does survive to contaminate better breeds. Again, this is Lothrop Stoddard. This is a book that John Galt read years ago, and these are the highlights from the book that I read. For those of you that are interested in what makes a John Galt, I think you're getting to see it here now. What type of books did John Galt read? I'm not just telling you about books that I read. You're seeing the highlights of what stuck out in John Galt's mind. As I was reading this book by Lothrop Stoddard, many blacks probably would not even challenge themselves to read this book. It would be a little too rough, flying a little too close to the sun for many blacks. But this is the rough reading that John Galt chose for himself. I wanted to see the world as it is, not through some lens that I hope that was all based on hope. And here's again another quote from Lothrop Stoddard. Now, and let me see if I can zero in on this a little bit. Among our human categories, we have observed that progress is primarily due to the superiors. It is they who found and further civilizations. As for the intermediate mass, it accepts the achievements of its creative pioneers. Its attitude is receptive. This receptivity is due to the fact that most of the intermediate grades are near enough to the superiors to understand and assimilate what the superiors have initiated. Does anyone understand that? Again, I'll ask you, has anyone ever heard of the book Revolt Against, what is it? I keep forgetting the name. The Underman by Lothrop Stoddard. This is a book that I read many, many years ago. Has anyone ever heard of this book? Anyone ever read it before? I've talked about decision fatigue and future time orientation. For those of you on your journey, this is one of the books that you might very well find interesting. I must say, I started the stream a little early because I was getting drunk, and I said, let me start it early before I get too drunk, and I decided not to do it. The next quote from the book is, the inferior elements are instinctively or consciously the enemies of civilization. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. The inferior elements are instinctively or consciously the enemies of civilization, and they are its enemies, not by chance, but because they are more or less uncivilizable. We must remember that the level of society never coincides with the level of its human units. This is rough talk. This is real rough talk. This is the journey of John Galt. This is the readings of John Galt. These are my highlights from my reading of this book. You understand? And we keep going on here, and this is, again, Lothrop Stoddard. More quotes from Lothrop Stoddard. Just rough talk here for the blacks. Just rough talk. Again, this is a Lothrop Stoddard. Another quote. And you'll hear him say here, the truth, and I'll zoom in. The truth is that as a civilization advances, it leaves behind multitudes of human beings who have not the capacity to keep pace. Have mercy. You hear that? This is Lothrop Stoddard, the Revolt against Civilization, the menace of the underman. And he said, the truth is that as a civilization advances, it leaves behind multitudes of human beings who have not the capacity to keep pace. The laggards, of course, vary greatly among themselves. Some are congenital savages or barbarians, men who could not fit into any civilization and who consequently fall behind from the beginning, from the start. Let that sink in. This is Lothrop Stoddard, and these are the highlights from the book that John Galt chose. This is 15 years ago, so 10, 15 years ago, so when I read this book. And it made a hell of an impression on me, I must be honest. And he goes on to say, just as primitives who would be quite at home in savage or barbarian environments are alien to any sort of civilization, so many individuals who rub along well enough in civilization's early phases have neither the wit nor the moral fiber to meet the sterner demands of high complex civilizations. This is rough talk from Lothrop Stoddard. And I'm not sure when this book was written. It probably was written in the 1800s, I would guess. And this is, again, these are his words, and these are John Galt's highlights from the book. And we'll cover a couple of more of these highlights before we get into the Rick Child trial. And here's another quote, again, from the Lothrop Stoddard book, The Revolt Against Civilization, The Menace of the Underman. This is a book that I read long ago, and this is kind of what shaped my thinking over the years. Here's another quote from Lothrop Stoddard. He says, it usually affords him, and he's talking about civilization. He said, now, how does the underman look at civilization? How does he look at it? You've heard me say these things many times here, and this is where I get it from. This civilization offers him few benefits and even fewer hopes. It usually affords him little beyond a meager subsistence. You see all this? This is where John Galt gets it wrong. And he goes on to say, and sooner or later, he instinctively senses that he is a failure. The civilization's prizes are not for him, But this civilization, which withholds benefits, does not hesitate to impose burdens. We have previously stated that the civilization's heaviest burdens are borne by the superior. Absolutely, this is true relatively. The underman's intrinsically lighter burdens feel heavier because of his innate capacity. This is rough talk. This is very rough talk. This is what John Galt has been, basically threading this message here over and over and over and over again. For those of you that have been here from the beginning, and if you're able to see patterns, you should be able to see a pattern by now. The very discipline of the social order oppresses the underman. It thwarts and chastises him at every turn. To wild natures, society is a torment, while the congenital caveman placed in civilization is always in trouble and usually in jail. This is The Revolt Against Civilization, The Menace of the Underman by Lothrop Stoddard, and these are John Galt's notes taken 15 years ago, or more, or less. The very discipline of the social order oppresses the underman. Who is the underman? It thwarts and chastises him at every turn. And as a result, he's always in trouble and usually in jail. Let that sink in. All this seems inevitable. But in addition to these social handicaps, the underman often suffers from the action of better placed individuals who take advantage of his weakness and incapacity to exploit him and drive him down to social levels even lower than those which he wouldn't normally occupy. Does everyone understand what's being said here? Does everyone understand this? Only a nigga like John Galt can bring this to you. These are my notes from the book. Right? That's why it's in yellow. Such is the underman's unhappy lot. Now, what is his attitude toward that civilization from which he has so little hope? What but instinctive opposition and discontent? Does that make sense? Is it all sinking in now? This is Lothrop Stoddard. The Revolt Against Civilization, brought to you by no other than John Galt. Now, there was someone that commented, I think it was EAE. He said, John, I think he was coming on the video. He said, John, why are we so violent? Am I now connecting the dots for you, EAE? You understand now? All this seems inevitable. But in addition to these social handicaps, the underman often suffers from the action of better placed individuals like John Galt who take advantage of his weakness, or the liquor store owners or the corner store owners, and his incapacity to exploit him and drive him down to social levels even lower than those which he would normally occupy. Such is the underman's unhappy lot. Does everyone understand? The Underman. Brought to you by John Galt. Again, this is a book I read. If I were to look at the dates and whatever, tell them when I read this book. Now, what is the attitude toward that man's civilization, which he has so little to hope? What but instinctive opposition and discontent? Now, I'm going to ask you, motherfuckers, do you now see why that nigga destroyed my microwave? Is it now clear to you that black down at the bottom, he strikes out at an inanimate object? What is he going to do? He going to hit a white man and go to prison? He's going to beat up an old person? Well, he did that. Commit felonies and batteries and whatever against the old person, he did that. But then he struck out at the microwave. This is the underman's unhappy lot. Does that make sense? Is everyone able to connect the dots here? It's been 3 years now I've been doing this. And you should be able to see it now. And we keep pushing on before we get to the Rick Child versus South Carolina trial. But again, as Lathrop started to say, all this shit seemed inevitable. But we have to live the big lie. The big lie is being lived. And here's another quote from Lathrop Stoddard. Again, a quote from John Galt. We're going to walk our way through most of these quotes before we get to the Rick Child case, because I think you're going to find that very interesting once we get to that. Because you're going to see, like, the underman on trial, the underman testifying before a jury. These feelings, of course, vary all the way from dull, unreasoning like dislike, to flaming hatred and rebellion. Oh, Lord. But in the last analysis, they are directed not merely against imperfections in the social order, but against the social order itself. Have mercy. You understand what you're seeing here? This is John Galt bringing it to you. No one else is going to do this. No one else has the dope that can bring it all full circle for you. They could talk about it. They can bring TikTok clips. But every day I show you the underman, his discontent, his dull, unreasoning like dislike that leads to flaming hatred and rebellion. Is everyone getting this? The underman. We must realize clearly that the basic attitude of underman is an instinctive and natural vote against civilization. You understand that? This is what you're saying. Everything you're seeing out in the real world is nothing but the underman's revolt against a social order that he cannot keep up with. Do you understand this? Again, I was just talking to my buddy Philippe. And he works for Claude. He's developing all this Claude shit. And he said, John, the bro man fucked up, bro. Bro man fucked up. This is Claude. This is Philippe. He's black. He a bro man. He telling me. He said, yo, bro man fucked up, bro. He said, like this Claude shit, they're going places that the bro man just can't even fathom. And he said it's going to leave them behind. And Philippe is the one that said, he said, John, you got to cover the revolt against civilization. Because he said they're often in jail. You read the quote. Civilization is leaving these people behind. You understand that? And so what we're seeing is the revolt against that civilization. They're just leaving them behind. They're trying to say, hey, don't leave me behind. You're leaving me behind. Slow down. Let me catch up. But civilization is not willing to slow down. Innovation is not willing to slow down and let the black man catch up. There is no DEI in that. You understand? And so this is Lathrop Stoddard discussing what he's seeing. And this is John Galt kind of putting it all into context here of what I've seen over my lifetime. And here is the money line, and maybe we'll end here. Pick back up another day, because I have so many quotes from this book. But maybe this would be a good ending point before we jump into the Rick Chow. And again, this is Lathrop Stoddard, Revolt Against Civilization, the Menace of the Underman. Damn, did I read this quote? I think I read this one. Did I read this one? I think I read those one. Let me go to the next quote. But this is the money line here. This is what I think a lot of the blacks that you see chimping out in society. This is the basis. This is the crux. It usually affords him a little beyond a meager subsistence. The people like JP, they're cool with that. Society doesn't torment him. It provides for him. But what if the black that wants to try to make a go of? For many of them, society only serves as a torment. The parking tickets, the speeding tickets, the AI cameras, the this and the that, the this and that, all the different rules and regulations only serves to torment the underman. As society progresses, the underman instinctively senses that he's a failure. The civilization's prizes are not for him. This is deep talk. This is rough talk. This is the underman. And again, another quote from Lathrop Stoddard on the other man, and we'll cover a couple more of these quotes, and then we'll move on to the Rick Chow trial. So many quotes from Lathrop Stoddard. So many. I want to put a couple of them up there quickly. That way we can get through them. I think we'll cover like 3 more and then we'll move on. Let's see, should we cover this one? Let's see. Let's see, which quote do I want before we, I'm not going to cover all of them, so I want to get the best. Yo, this is rough talk here. I put this one up here. And one more. We do like 2 more, and then we get to the Rick Chow. One second. So this is Lathrop Stoddard. I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts on what you've heard so far. If you've ever heard of Lathrop Stoddard. Damn, there's so many great quotes from this book. I can't stop posting them on Twitter. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, you should. J. Sweet John Galt, that's French. J. Sweet John Galt. J. Sweet, Jesuis. Sweet John Galt. And man, I can't get this. This is one of the most interesting books that I've read in a long time. I want to put one more up here. Yeah, put this one up here. Then we'll end it with that. Again, so here's a couple more quotes from Lathrop Stoddard. If you haven't read the book, I would suggest you read it. It's a very interesting read. Lathrop Stoddard, Revolt Against Civilization. He has a couple other books. I'll let you know the name of those books right now. And they are Lathrop Stoddard, The New World of Islam. That's another one of his books. I'll show you those books. The New World of Islam. I may want to cover the NFL too. Maybe we do that before we do the Lathrop. So here's another one of his books, The New World of Islam by Lathrop Stoddard. He also has another book that I read. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is one of my favorites right here. And this is one of my favorites by Lathrop Stoddard, The Rising Tide of... Oh, yeah. Yeah. Here's another book by Lathrop Stoddard. Another book by Lathrop Stoddard is called The Rising Tide of Color Against White World Supremacy. I'm not sure if anyone has ever heard it. I've read all of these books. I have quotes from these books. Maybe I'll cover these other books another time. But these are all books that I've read by Lathrop Stoddard. Again, what makes a John Galt. And so back to the quotes before we get into the Rick Chow trial. A couple quotes. We're just going in no particular order. Here's the first one. And these are the highlights again from my reading of the book. Government by a minority is dangerous, not because it is opposed to the traditional idea of democracy and the traditional worship of the majority, but because such government necessitates the employment of continuous violent methods and maintaining continuously in the minds of the masses a consciousness of danger and the necessity for destruction. Let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. What have you seen on this channel? Blacks destroying microwave, doors, TVs, anything that any inanimate object that they can put their hand on. I've shown it to you now. But because such government necessitates the employment of continuous violent methods and maintaining continuously in the minds of the masses a consciousness of danger and the necessity of destruction. And that is the second dangerous factor of the underman. Under such a condition, the masses are permanent mobs, able only to do what? Hate, fight, and destroy. This is rough talk. This is very rough talk. This is John Galt. Bring it to a real rough, rugged, and raw here. It is literally amazing to observe how mankind has for ages been wasting its efforts in the vain attempt to change existing individuals instead of changing the race by determining which individuals should and should not produce the next generation. Have mercy. This is rough talk. This is Lathrop solid. How many of you again have read or heard of this book? I would imagine not many of you. Not many black people are definitely not going to read no shit like this. And see, this is the blind spot of the blacks. Honestly, I'm telling you, blacks, if you're in the audience, you're black. This is your blind spot. Right? Look at what's happening in Black America. This is what Lathrop Solid is talking about. Instead of changing the race by determining which individuals should and should not produce the next generation. That's very interesting. That is, again, very, very interesting. Again, this is Lathrop Stoddard, Revolt Against Civilization. And here's another quote from you. Is anyone going to come in? Have you ever heard of this book before? I didn't highlight this, but we'll read this. So many fucking quotes from Lathrop Stoddard here. I feel like I could go on and on and on. Let me keep putting a couple more quotes up here. If you want to see these quotes, you can also find them on my Twitter page, J Sweet John Galt. And it's one I'm really looking for, but I was trying to go in order. Oh, we got MFB up here. McNamara's Follies. MFB wanted me to unprivate the video. I'll do that for you, MFB, no problem. This is Lathrop Stoddard commenting on the Leonard Roys and the Stanley Crosses of the world. Or that African, that Kenyan that you heard on the call. Did anyone hear that call? I'm not sure if the volume was right. Were you able to hear the call from the Kenyan who said he just joined the Air Force? He said he's waiting on his job. He's 29. He's driving Uber, and for those of you that don't know, in DC, there's a company that rents bikes to the immigrants. $200 a month. You see this? This is what the African was talking about. Wiz. Flexible all-in plan for delivery drivers. $200 a month. $199. Right? E-bikes. Maintenance included, own it in 6 months, ride all day on one charge, get your bike today, cancel anytime. Did anyone hear what the immigrant, the African said? He said he said the Hispanics, rain, sleet, shine, and snow, they make $1,600 a week. DoorDash on a bike. Now you think about how many of these blacks criticize me for riding bikes. But the immigrants out here rent bikes. Look, you see it? $199 a month. Look. Rent to own bikes. Look. $169, $199. Look, different types of bikes and shit. You can rent them. Rent to own. And in turn, you can make $1,600 a week. That's what the Kenyan was doing. Did anybody hear the intro, by the way? Because sometimes the volume on StreamYard is, you never know. Put a 1 in the chat if you heard the intro. If not, I'm going to play it again. But anyway, so this is Lothrop Stoddard. We're going to go through a couple of more of his quotes before we get to the Rick Chow. And again, this is a lead up for Master Kim and I. We're going to be doing a stream on Monday. And Master Kim, as an Asian, is going to talk to you about what it's like running a store as an Asian man dealing with blacks. This is a follow-up to the stream that Be Brave and I did about blacks are driving people insane. And Master Kim will give you some insight on what it's like doing business with them and why black people more than likely do not want to own businesses in their own community. So back to Lothrop Stoddard. And Lothrop Stoddard goes on to say, in the American Army intelligence test, McNamara's Follies, some of the best scores were made by illiterate, ignorant Southern mountaineer whites who had never before been outside their native valley. Be brave. In other words, primitive conditions had held back a high-grade Anglo-Saxon stock. But the intelligence was there, passed on from generation to generation, and only wanted a favorable opportunity to display itself. Does everyone understand what he's saying here? Does everyone get this? What he's saying? This is Be Brave. This is Be Brave right here. In the American Army intelligence tests, some of the best scores were made by illiterate, ignorant, be brave like mountaineers who had never before been outside their native valleys. In other words, primitive conditions had held back the whites. But the intelligence was still there. It's not environment, people. Passed on from generation to generation. This is rough talk. How many of these black-ass streamers talk that pro-black melanin shit you think you've ever read this? How many? The Stanley Crosses of the world who talk like this, he say, I love to read. I read books. You think he's ever read this? How many pages of this book you think he'd get through before he turned it all off? You think the angry man has read this book? The Hodge twin. Anton Daniels. You think any of these other blacks could read this book? The ones that talk about the black community is trash, they can talk it. But do you think they've ever read this book? Look, this is rough talk. This is very rough talk. It's a very rough talk. Again, I'm asking you guys if you can answer the question for me. I'm very curious to know how many of you have read this book or heard of this book before, even the author, Lothrop Stoddard, The Revolt Against Civilization, The Rising Tide of Color Against White, whatever. I forget the other name of the title. How many of you have read these books? How many of you have even heard of it? Go in the bookstore one day and ask them, do you have any books from Lothrop Stoddard? I used to do that shit. I go and Barnes Noble. You got any books from Lothrop Stoddard? Who? What? No, hell no, we don't carry that. You think Stanley Cross will read this? How many of you think, honestly, Stanley Cross will read this book? I'm curious to know. You guys better answer before I get drunk and end the stream here. Again, this is Lothrop Stoddard here. And there are more quotes. We thus see that superior intelligence is not a monopoly of the upper and middle social classes, albeit they do possess I think he goes on to say a disproportionate share of the intelligence. History proves conclusively that revolutions are precipitated mainly by inefficient government and unwise finance. That's very interesting. Inefficient government. That would be DEI. That would be DEI. You go down to the DMV and there's a bunch of big fat bull mammoths and the line is being held up for 3 hours just to get a damn ID. And they're spending money on schools. What did Coach Ferg say? Coach Ferg said we need to spend $30 million per school all across America, and that'll solve the black problem. He's not willing to admit that maybe the stock is bad. There's nothing you can do. They need to accept their fate in life. This is rough talk. Coach Ferg cannot accept this talk. But this is more than likely what it is. Here, more than anywhere else, the guidance of superior intelligence is a vital necessity. Were our political and economic life today guided by our best minds, we should have little to fear from social revolution. You hear that? We should have little to fear from social revolution if our political and economic life today were guided by our best mind. What is he saying here? Again, this is very interesting. A series of constructive reforms will safeguard the future, future time orientation, while the present revolutionary onslaught would be summarily repelled. These are the teen takeovers he's talking about. Those are the revolutionaries that we can't repel because we don't have efficient government. And finance, we don't have efficient finance. We're spending money trying to teach blacks to be STEM where they need to accept, many of them need to accept their fate. Society will pick the best and brightest. We don't need to throw millions and millions of dollars. The cream will rise to the top. This is what I took from this. High intelligence is nearly always well poised and can be depended upon in a crisis to keep cool. There are no fighting words among the highly intelligent. And do the right thing. Mediocrity, on the other hand, lacks poise and vision. Have mercy. You look around the black channels right now, you think, what are they talking about? If somebody were to go take a cursory look, they can't talk about this because this is too rough for them to cover. Yet governments are today everywhere, mainly in mediocre hands. And I think that's the end. I don't think I posted anymore. But I'll leave this quote on the screen for a minute. And again, I think that's what we're seeing in America right now. We're trying to turn around the worst by throwing money at it, inefficient finance. And that leads to social revolution. And so that's Lothrop Stoddard. The Revolt Against Civilization. Maybe one day I'll cover the other books that he's talked about, but Lothrop Stoddard. The Menace of the Underman. Civilization only serves to torment him. And he's often in jail. This is what Lothrop Stoddard surmised back whenever he wrote the book. All right, let me get into this Rick Chow. And one of the things I want to cover is one of the witnesses in the Rick Chow trial. And I hope I have it up here. I'm sure I do. Anyway, so it was one of the witnesses that will likely stand to convict Rick Chow. And where is it? Where is it? Let's see. Where is it here? I know I have it. It's not that one. Maybe it's here. I got it. Give me a second. 1 second. You know what? Give me 1 second here. While I'm looking for the video, let me play this. For those of you that
like families and kids because they got pressure to make more money.
Yeah.
Hey, them, you see them Hispanics on the road, trust.
The Hispanic guys,
they make bang.
Is that, you know, particularly if you're sharing a bathroom, that you're able to get along well with other people.
I would
Does that make
Grace.
sense?
I would choose Grace.
Yeah. So it's good that you mentioned that. You say you're going into the military?
Yeah. Entry program. So once they test you, you swear you have you waiting.
You done boot camp already, or you waiting to go to boot camp?
I'm waiting to go to boot camp. My brother is actually already in boot camp right now.
And you say you're Kenyan? That's interesting.
I'm American, but I grew up in Kenya.
You grew up in, wait a minute, but are you African? I'm just getting an idea. So interesting. How old are you?
29.
29. In the Air Force, what's going to be your MOS?
So that's what I'm waiting for.
Well, you'd have to bend.
But I have a job list right now.
That means me.
And where are you working right now? Do you deliver by motor scooter bike? It's cheaper. You probably get better orders. What do? You hang around downtown where the best orders are?
Cheap. NODC, the back of my hand right now.
All the hot areas. Hey, do you make pretty good money? What? You on a bike?
It would be like 1,500, 1,700 a week.
Really?
No, minimum would be like 800.
Really? Just delivering food. How many orders are you delivering any given day?
I rolled the dice on that one.
That'd be like 9 hours of work, maybe 30, 35 deliveries.
How far are these deliveries typically?
Orders.
Really? You just hanging out and be like, yeah, let me, they call you, they be like, here's a delivery. And what, do you get tips and stuff or what? Really? Damn, that ain't bad right there if you're getting tips, bro. That's a good deal, man. If you're getting tips, that ain't bad. If you're getting tips on that.
Really, I'm trying to be in the Air Force, so it's just like a side gig, you feel me?
Yeah, man, damn, I didn't know they making $4,000 a month.
Yeah, especially them homies with families and kids, because they got pressure to make more money. Hey, we see them Hispanics on the road, trust.
The Hispanic guys?
They make bang.
Doing Uber Eats?
Uber Eats and DoorDash.
Which one pays more?
I don't know about that.
But both of them pay pretty well, though. So why do you do Uber Eats? Because it pays pretty well?
I had the DoorDash for Uber Eats. The app is just better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then everybody's on DoorDash, so I figured that Uber Eats would have a better opportunity.
Really? Get out of here, man. $1,000 a week. Damn, that ain't bad. Do you get tip and you get tips and everything too?
Yeah, tips, especially if you have good service, smile. Just be more, I try to just be more sociable. Them tips, they go up with a smile and a hello.
But are you delivering food directly to the people? These are apartment buildings, right?
But it depends. It could be like some orders where people just want you to drop it off at the door or want you to give the food to them in hand. It depends really.
Damn. So, I always wonder. I live in Southeast, man. All these brothers over here, why they don't just do that shit? They find them a job doing that shit.
And don't you just come up here and work this job?
Why you think they don't do it?
It's just the information, bro. Information.
You think that's what it is?
Just don't tell everything they know. Or they're probably working at opportunities. It could be illegal on some crime shit, but it has more money. It's a bit tough. Like if a YN is making like 10K 2 days, he's not interested in making.
You think some of these YNs making that kind of money?
Oh, bro, trust.
Doing what?
I don't know. Man, I know what I know, and they know what they know. So they are onto some. Because hey, bro, some of them they also trying to elevate. They're not trying to be. Yeah, so. But
damn, so you think that how much you think the Hispanics making riding them scooters and bikes and shit?
Say that again?
How much you think the Hispanics are making riding them bikes delivering orders?
Oh, I don't know, but some of them gotta be pushing 6-7K because I see some of them all day. Come rain, come sunshine, they out there.
Damn.
And they ain't really got no other option, you know. The only thing on their mind is just to maximize their earning potential, and then hopefully their kids can take them to the next level from this.
Yeah, it's very impressive to see them people out there working, man. I will say that. Hey, what kind of bike do you ride?
I ain't gonna lie, I had a scooter that was recently stolen. It was a 49cc type of scooter. Some dude took it from me. What the fuck?
Damn. So what you riding now?
I'm trying to book a rental bike. They have these rental bikes that you could book for like
200 a month.
Have you seen the Wiz bikes?
Yeah, Wiz. That's what you ride.
That's what I want to pick up. I had a scooter that just someone took from me. Right now, I'm trying to pick up a Wiz bike. In fact, I'm picking up a Wiz bike on Monday. I'm looking to move into either of your units on Sunday.
With the Wiz bikes, would they go real fast or something?
Them bikes are perfect, bro.
No shit. Or you only have to pedal and shit. You don't have to pedal them, huh? Man, that's cool, man.
Yeah. So let me text you and you can send me the address.
You seen the address and everything. All right, yes.
What's your name? John.
Just send me a message now and I'll tell you the address and we'll meet up tomorrow. And when are you looking to move, by the way? Perfect. All right, sounds good, man.
That's why I would like the private. And how much are you renting these rooms for?
Anyway, that was the African guy. And what he did was he checked in with me. We don't even do credit checks. And he led off with, Mr. John Galt, I got this credit, my credit score, this, my that. And he was telling me that he had so much trouble with other landlords. He's black. And he led off with information I didn't even ask him for. His credit, this and that. He's single, he's clean, he's honest, he's this and that. And I think he said he had a credit score like 530, so it wasn't even great credit. But he led off with hey, this is who I am. And it was almost like the black checking in. Blacks have coined this term of checking into neighborhoods. The black was more or less checking in. And this is a very interesting concept. So again, on Monday, Master Kim and I, we're going to be doing a stream on what it's like doing business in the ghetto. Master Kim has done quite a bit of business in the ghetto. Master Kim is in the audience right there. You see his chat on the screen. Yo, what's up, everybody? Master Kim. So on Monday, we're going to be talking about what it's like doing business in the ghetto. He's going to be able to give you the insight from the standpoint of an Asian guy who own businesses or run businesses in the ghetto. And if you run a business in the ghetto, you're more than likely at some point you're going to run into some bullshit. And in this case, Rick Chow killed a young black man, 14-year-old. The black man had a gun, but he chased him down. The Rick Chow, in my opinion, he was driven to insanity by all the black people stealing. And so here's one of the witnesses that testified against Rick Chow. And this is what you're up against in these ghetto fucking black ass communities. You've seen all the bikes get stolen out of my house. The most recent one, he basically walked in my damn house. And when I say basically walked in my house, I had my back door open. The back door, right? You see it? It was open. When he stole my bike on my back porch, right? My back door was open. What's stopping these blacks from just walking around in my house and taking everything else? Why stop at the bike, black? You know how it made, well, I ain't gonna say it made me feel, but you know how it must make a man feel to have some black stealing from him over and over, and you can't put your hands on that black because the law is protecting him and will punish you if you put your hand on him. Do you understand how that makes a man feel? That's why the blacks don't want to live around other blacks. And so now I'm going to show you what it's like when you have to put your hands on one of these blacks. Look who's going to testify against you. And this is what Mr. Chow is up against. This is one of the blacks that was testifying against Mr. Chow. I want you to listen.
This is definitely not an excellent.
I will allow it to the extent.
You were a 14-year-old kid once, is that correct?
Yes.
And in your experience, did you ever see other 14-year-olds or other youths with firearms?
Yes.
Okay.
I got to stop. Jesus Christ. Did you hear that? Did you hear this? Listen, for those of you that miss it, or the cognitively declining.
And in your experience, did you ever see other 14-year-olds or other youths with firearms?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the environment that Rick Chow is operating in. You got it? 14-year-olds with guns. This is a black testifying that he saw the shooting. He's admitting that black 14-year-olds carry guns. This is what he's admitting. Listen.
14-year-old kid once.
I will allow it to the extent you can speak from personal knowledge, but not speculate about the general population.
Yes. You were a 14-year-old kid once, is that correct?
Yes.
And in your experience, did you ever see other 14-year-olds or other youths with firearms?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever, just asking, honestly, did you ever have a chance to hold a gun when you were underage?
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ. This is a witness for the prosecution. It's going to put Mr. Chow in prison. He's going to prison. Trust me. These are the type of people that he has to do business with. These are the people that come in and out of his convenience store. 14-year-olds carrying guns. Let that sink in. You understand? Right? This is a black. They say he carries guns at 14. Going out of Mr. Chow's store, carrying his gun.
Did you ever, just asking, honestly, did you ever have a chance to hold a gun when you were underage?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you feel compelled to hold a gun or carry a gun?
What do you think his answer is going to be? What do you think his answer is going to be? Why do you think you were compelled to carry a gun?
Okay. Why did you feel compelled to hold a gun or carry a gun?
I mean, just seeing the stuff that's around me, trying to, fit in with people. And then, like growing up, you want acceptance. You want to be cool with everybody. You want everybody to like you. You want everybody to be around,
Okay.
So
This is one of these fucking blacks that's going to convict a man who's willing to do something in these black communities that no other black would do. Understand that? See, this black could have just disappeared. He could say, man, we need this cornerstone more than we need that 14-year-old nigga. So I ain't even going to testify. I'm going to disappear. So he could have done. Blacks do it all the time. I ain't showing up to testify. I ain't testifying. But he showed up here to get this Chinese man's scalp. And I want you to see how this is why the blacks feel like they are part of the government, because the government is going to use this black to get this Chinese man's scalp. This is why the blacks feel like they can enforce the First Amendment, because look how special they are being treated by the government. This man should be condemned, but he's being basically put on a pedestal by the government to get the Chinaman. This is the revolt against civilization that you're seeing right before your eyes. The people, the motherfucking blacks that make songs and talk about me, right? You ever hear them talk about the criminals? You ever hear them say, well, what about the people that don't pay John Galt? Shouldn't we talk about them? They don't make any songs about them. You ever notice that? Listen.
I talked to Chaotic Truth.
Yeah.
That's why I apologized to Chaotic Truth the other day. Because Chaotic Truth ain't really been disrespectful.
Yeah.
He just supporting a disrespectful motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's why I said what I said about him.
Yeah.
I didn't do shit to John.
Yeah.
But John is a flea.
John's a flea.
That nigga's a flea. I don't give a fuck if you get 100,000 subscribers. He's a fucking flea.
Fucking flea.
A slumlord flea.
Slumlord flea. But what about these slum-ass tenants? But what about these slum-ass tenants? They don't want to talk about them.
I know how to
They don't want to talk about them. Who wants to do? Do you see this black ass face? He ain't got dreadlocks. See, someone commented on my channel. I can't remember who it was. But he said, John, like, I think I see a pattern in your bad black tenants. They don't have a car and they got unkempt appearance. Okay, well, here's a black with no dreadlocks. His appearance is kempt, seem to be well, kept. He has a car. He's going to testify to all this in trial. And we're going to hear that this is a bad black. How do you determine that this is a bad black? Listen.
You follow what's going on.
All right. So in your experience in the areas you grew up with, guns were cool.
Yeah.
And
in my area, guns were cool as a 14-year-old. That's what he just said. He just admitted to it. Listen.
Grew up with, guns were cool.
Yeah.
And would you have certain cachet? You know what that means? Could it help your reputation sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Would it help your reputation to be carrying a gun over a book? You heard him just say it. What did he say?
Could it help your reputation sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can you explain that?
I mean, it's like I said, it's more like it's a acceptance thing. That's what it'll help with. Kids being cool with you being cool with other kids.
See, the blacks don't want to admit this, but it comes out in trial. If you go all over YouTube right now, you go to Trade the Truth Teller, go to whoever live right now, Not for Humans. They're gonna act like the black kids just need a few resources and shit. But in reality, this man said, look, they got guns, nigga. Guns ain't cheap. How a 14-year-old get a gun? What did he do to get it? Why if he was hungry or if he was poor, why he just didn't sell the gun?
It's a acceptance thing. That's what it'll help with. You know, kids being cool with you being cool with other kids, you having an influence. You know, you just not being talked about in how they say, a lame way with kids. You
A
know?
lame way. You got to carry guns or not to be talked about in a lame way. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is a witness testifying against child. And the state is basically saying, you know, it's cold. You blacks have created a community where your children got to carry guns for lameness factors and all.
You want to be popular or things like that.
Okay. So, in your experience growing up in the Bethel, Bishop, was it common or uncommon to see people who were under the age of 18 with guns?
Common.
Jesus Christ. Did you hear that? How do you operate a business in an environment where children are walking into your establishment with guns unlawfully? You heard him say it.
The people who are under the age of 18 with guns.
Common.
Okay.
People under the age of 18 with guns? Common. You heard it? This is what the DJ Witch Doctors and the DJ Hams and none of these other blacks want to talk about. Their children are looked at like little threats, big threats, because they got big ass guns. His boy had 17 and one in the chamber, I think.
High crime area, Bethel, Bishop. You yourself have been in some trouble. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I got to ask you about some. I've got, as far as criminal convictions, in 2017, you got in a little bit of trouble, or maybe a lot of trouble. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I see a conviction for an accessory after the fact to a felon.
Yes, sir.
Did you plead guilty to that?
Yes, sir. I did. They gave me 5 years for that.
Okay.
Again, these are the type of people that are patronizing this store. Think about that. This man is dealing with the lowest of the lowest filth. And the blacks will say, well, why don't he open up a store in Georgetown? Well, this is a gas station. Where the niggas gonna get gas from if he decided to just not open up a store in the ghetto and open up in Georgetown? The blacks gonna have to drive miles for gas, then it'll be a gas desert. Pick your poison, blacks.
I see that you were convicted of a possession of a stolen vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I see that you got convicted of an altar breaking. Is that true?
So he stole someone's vehicle, like someone stole my bike. And what you're gonna see here is that the blacks are on the victim, on the criminal side. And the state is partnering with the blacks to punish this Chinese man who's providing a valuable service in the blacks, and the blacks are just going in the store stealing. This is what's happening.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it looks like that was about 9 years ago that you pled guilty. I don't know when did the crimes occur?
I can't remember exactly, but all of that, I played to all of those in one.
Okay. And that was 9 years ago, 2017?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to 3 years ago, May 28th, 2023. You remember that date?
Yes, sir.
You blocked? What do you mean? Somebody unblocked Sin 17. I don't know why you blocked. Why you blocked? I didn't block you. But I'll unblock you though. I don't know why you blocked though. Oh, I did? All right, let me play this video and I'll do it. I'll unblock you.
You remember what you were doing on that day?
Yeah, I was going to my brother's house. Her brother's. I was meeting my girlfriend at her brother's house.
Okay. You meet your girlfriend
at her brother's house.
I got you. Okay. And where did your girlfriend's brother live?
Greenbrier Apartments, off of Park Lane.
Okay. Had you been to the Greenbrier Apartments before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that an area you were familiar with?
Yeah, kind of.
No, what you're hearing here is, again, blacks are like hanging out in the middle of the day and shit in apartment buildings. You know what this is very similar to, honestly? For those of you that remember the Mike Brown case, and this is a real estate thing, so those of you that don't know real estate, this may be foreign to you. But Mike Brown was hanging out in a development where they built it primarily for poor blacks. Outside of these inner cities, they would build these low-slung apartment buildings for blacks. And they're more or less like Section 8 dens. I know, I'm a landlord. I know these things. I've dealt with the people that deal with these people. And these people engage in crime and all this kind of stuff, and then they go to the corner store and they hustle and shit in front of the corner store. This is what's going on in front of the corner store, and this is one of the people at the corner store who is in and out of the corner store, and you can see he's clearly a criminal. So the Izzy Bands of the world, again, they criticize me for doing business in the hood. But they never criticized the China man. He's selling them gas. Why don't everybody just pull out of the ghetto? Everybody just pull out. Make the blacks go over to Georgetown, 3-4 miles, 10 miles away to get gas. This is the alternative that the Izzy Bands of the world, when they criticize me, the alternative is that there will be no services in close proximity to the blacks to service this black right here, this criminal black. Listen to him. Imagine, would you want to do business with this black? Listen to what he just admitted to doing. He admitted to stealing people's cars and shit, like my bikes, other felonies. Just listen.
You meet your girlfriend
at her brother's house.
I got you. Okay.
At her brother's house.
Where did your girlfriend's brother live?
Greenbrier Apartments off of Park Lane.
The Greenbrier Apartments. These are always some low-slung apartments.
Okay. Had you been to the Greenbrier Apartments before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that an area you were familiar with?
Yeah, kind of. Just like going to his house, and her mom stays up the street too.
Okay. What were you driving?
You noticed something interesting, and I don't know if you caught it. Listen.
Like going to his house, and her mom stays up the street too.
Her mom stays up the street. They just stay places. They don't live anywhere. They just stay places. They just stay places. They don't live anywhere. This is what, listen to what he just said. Yeah, her mama stay up the street, right?
Okay.
Her mama stay up the street.
Just like going to his house, and her mom stays up the street too.
How many of y'all niggas stay somewhere? Y'all stay somewhere? Where you stay at? See, this is like black lingo coming into conflict with court lingo, white man lingo. See, the blacks can talk their E-Bunny down on the street, but now you got to explain to me, what do you mean by he put his hands on me?
Okay. What were you driving at the time?
White Honda Accord.
All right. Do you remember what direction you were? I guess you would have turned off Park Lane Road.
Yeah, I was coming from the interstate, which is by the Circle K.
Okay, so then you would have taken a left or a right onto Spring Tree.
All right.
Right. Okay. Let me.
We're gonna get past this black. We're gonna get past the prosecutors talking, and they ain't doing all they doing is calling the black.
That's the gas station.
All right. Can you see me about that?
Yes.
Right. So you were coming up Park Lane and taking a right.
Yes.
Okay. 650. That car would have been. All right. Okay, play it. Okay. And did that show you on Park Lane taking a right on Spring Tree?
Yeah. The young boy, and it was two people chasing. And by the time I got close by the entrance, he had ran out of shoe, ran across the street. They still chasing him. he stumbles and falls. He's trying to get back up. He making up.
Let me stop you real quick. You talk about the young boy. Did you see the young boy you're describing in that video?
Yeah.
Station number 20?
Yeah.
Okay. What was he wearing?
A hoodie.
Okay. Then you said they were chasing him. Who was they?
The man and his son.
Okay. Had you ever seen any of these people before?
No.
Okay. The man and his son, do you know who that man is now?
Oh, yeah, now.
Okay. And who was that man?
His name Child.
Okay. Do you see him yet? Son were chasing. Did you see?
Yeah, now.
Okay. Running. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we get the part
how
where
close
they
did
prosecute,
Cyrus,
what did
Rick Child, Danny Child get to you while you're driving
him
down
here?
Spring Street?
Real close. I had to hit my. I would say because Greenbrier is
Things like that happen. But just stay away from that for the remainder of your testimony.
Okay.
All right.
And Your Honor, we agree that even though it's not stricken from the record, it cannot be argued as if it's part of evidence in the record in this time, correct?
Yes. Hold on a second.
Mr. Bryant, my name is Sean Kent. I do not believe we've ever met. I'll give you opportunity.
This is the prosecution. This is the defense. Question.
Devontae, what do you want to be called? I want to give you giving to the jury. And that it was basically
This is the defense questioning one of the witnesses for the prosecution. And I want you to listen again. This is the type of people that Mr. Chow and people like John Galt have to deal with. Murderers, criminals, killers. And I want you to listen to this. And for the Izzy bands, I hope you're listening. Right? I hope you're listening, Izzy band. Right? I know. For the Izzy bands in the world, these are the blacks that people like me have to deal with, Izzy. And I want you to listen to this.
normal that a lot of kids have guns.
Yeah.
And it is okay for them
Listen.
asking you questions about guns. They were asking you about the prevalence. Brian, I want to go through first the testimony that you offered the state of South Carolina just a few moments ago. Do you remember what you testified to?
Yeah.
And I want to first start at the beginning part of your testimony that you were giving to the jury when they were asking you questions about guns. So remember that.
Yes.
And when they were asking you questions about guns, they were asking you about the prevalence and the amount of guns in the community of children, 14-year-olds and so forth. Remember those questions?
Yeah.
And do you remember saying that it was basically normal that a lot of kids have guns?
Yeah.
And it is okay for them to have guns because it's a sign, a status or something of that nature, right?
Not saying okay, but
It's not okay, is it? It's not okay?
I didn't say that it was okay for a child to have a gun. I never said that.
And then let me follow that up with that question. It's not okay, is it?
I mean, it depends on what point you come from. I don't.
Please explain. What point would make it okay for somebody under the age of 15 to possess a firearm?
I wouldn't.
Well, you do.
You see this? This is the type of customers that Mr. Child was dealing with. Low IQ, violent blacks who are okay with children carrying guns. I want you to listen to this.
No, you just said it depends. So let the jury know, based upon the questions from the state and your answer, when is it okay for someone under the age of 14 or a child to have a gun?
Okay, I want you guys to answer the question. When is it okay for a 14-year-old to carry a gun? Can you give me a scenario where that's okay? In scenario? Huh? What you got for me? Oh, you blacks. Matter of fact, Mars, get these fucking blacks out the chat. Before you blacks, they want to do a mental exercise in the pig pen outside of the chat. What's a good scenario for a black 14-year-old to have a gun? And would you want to do business with a 14-year-old with a gun? You understand? This is what this black just said. This is what people have to deal with doing business with blacks?
It depends. So let the jury know, based upon the questions from the state and your answer, when is it okay for someone under the age of 14 or a child to have a gun?
King Shannon and all the other blacks, I need you to answer the question. As a man, just ask him, when is it okay for a 14-year-old nigger to have a gun? The blacks ain't gonna answer. I hope there ain't no fucking blacks in the chat. They won't answer that question. They won't answer that question. I can't think of one. Well, look at this black as an appendage of the government being used to hang this Chinaman, of which there are very few replacements. Master Kim will talk about this on Monday.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I mean, everybody had their own viewpoint of it. That's why I say it depends.
And I'm asking your viewpoint, based upon your testimony, based upon what you've offered to this jury, when is it okay?
I mean, protection-wise, if you ask me.
Go on.
You heard him? So protection-wise, it's okay. See, this is blacks framing the battleground here. Protection-wise, it is okay for a 14-year-old to have a gun. You just heard him say that, right? You heard him.
When is it okay?
I mean, protection-wise, if you ask me.
Go on, please. I did ask you.
That's it.
What do you mean protection-wise?
Depending on the area you grew up in or the areas you stay in, maybe.
And so when the state of South Carolina...
Depending on the area that you grew up in or the area that you stay in. You heard him say that. What does that mean? These are the people that are being used to prosecute Mr. Chow, black-ass criminals who are okay with 14-year-olds carrying guns. Do you now see why the blacks don't even want to open business in their own community? Because this is the mindset of the blacks in their community. These are the people that I deal with. You understand? Niggers like this and the sympathizers of the 14-year-olds that carrying the guns, or the 18, 19, 35-year-olds, the 70-year-old criminals, the niggas on the traits who are criminals who kill people, they all side with the criminal. You're seeing it right here. He won't elaborate. This is the big lie that they won't tell. And this is again, this is all my purview, I guess you could say, because I am the urban landlord, John Galt. And all these things boil down to real estate at the end of the day. Because no one wants to live around people like this. No one.
Put you on the stand, they understood that you felt it was okay to break the law for protection.
Objection to the question.
I'm referring.
All right, go ahead.
It is your testimony that it is okay to break the law for protection purposes.
No, I'm not saying. I never once said that.
See? But
Okay, tell me what you said. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I don't remember, but I didn't say that.
No, you just said it a few seconds ago, that it would be okay for protection purposes for someone under the age of 14 to have a firearm. Is that what you just said?
That's what I said.
Is it legal for someone under the age of 14 to have a firearm?
No.
So would it be breaking the law for a person under 14 to have a firearm?
Yeah.
And so would your testimony not have just been, it is okay for someone under the age of 14 to break the law for protection? Isn't that your testimony?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I guess.
this is what you're dealing with, the low IQ blacks. They're all like amped up to prosecute this man without any thought as to where they're going to get gas once his place closes. Who's going to replace him? The blacks aren't going to do it, I guess.
Because that's what they put you up to justify and say it's okay. So is that your testimony still to this jury?
Objection to the question and the implication.
I'll allow it. Be careful.
I am. Did you understand my question?
No, sir.
Well, let's move on just a bit. We'll go back to that. Do you own a firearm?
No.
You don't have a firearm?
No.
Did you have a firearm that day?
No.
In your vehicle?
No.
You have a child yourself, if I'm not mistaken.
3.
You got 3 children. You got 3 of them. Now, I want you to listen to what he says again. This is going to be very interesting because this man is he's testifying to convict the Chinese man who's providing a valuable service in his community. And in doing so, he's siding with the black criminal who would never, ever, ever, no matter how successful this black little criminal were to ever get, if he inherited billions of dollars, he would never even open up as much as a candy store in the ghetto. Now, I want you to listen to what the black says.
And I think one of them would be 14 years old right now.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
No.
In your vehicle.
No.
You have a child yourself, if I'm not mistaken.
3.
And I think one of them would be 14 years old right now.
Yeah.
You would not want him to have a firearm.
No.
You would instruct him not to have a firearm.
No.
You would not want him to have a firearm for protection of status or anything.
No.
No, you would think it would be wrong. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
It would be dangerous.
But this same black is testifying in hopes and desire of the Chinese man who killed a 14-year-old with a gun who likely was stealing from the store or maybe was going to rob the store. We don't know. Look how the blacks come down. They never side on truth. It's always about race.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
And you would not want your child in the community carrying a firearm.
No.
See? But this hypocritical nigger is going to convict this Chinese man who was doing what no other black would do or would be able to do. Open up a business in the ghetto. And then what I'm saying is, the blacks at some point are going to have to make some decision. Do you sacrifice the Cyruses of the world, the Michael Browns of the world, for peace and civility? They weren't going to be shit anyway. Sacrifice them. Or not. It's up to you, blacks. It's one or the other. But no one wants to be around people who are going to side with criminals in America where you can end up in prison for the rest of your life.
The solicitor's office asks you about your criminal record. You stand on the stand currently as a convicted felon.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You got to listen to this shit. Imagine going to prison on the basis of a testimony of a black like this.
And so you couldn't own a firearm anyway.
Yeah.
And so you stand over there convicted of 3 separate offenses.
I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure.
Not sure how many felonies you have?
No.
I don't know how many felonies I got. I ain't been punished for any of them. A year or 2 here, a year or 2 there. I don't know how many felonies I got. And the Chinese man steps into this environment where criminal blacks are not being held to account by the government, and they say as much in...
I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure.
Not sure how many felonies you have?
No.
Okay. Blacks out here roaming free. They don't even know how many felonies they got. They just roaming free. Free as a bird.
Were these all in Richland County?
Yeah.
And so were you prosecuted in this courthouse?
Yeah.
And so they are familiar with you?
I don't know.
Okay. When you talked to officers on the scene. Well, let's go through this. You actually gave two separate statements to officers. One on a body cam on scene. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then separately, you've talked to another officer. Is that a fair statement? Like you sat down and met with an officer and gave an actual recorded interview. Remember that?
This shit is so amazing. Again, this is the, anyone know what an intersection is? I know you know what the intersection is. So this is the intersection of low IQ and the white man's law and order. Right? It's a conflict. It's a car crash. This is what you're saying. A damn car crash. In 2 days from now, we're going to see the same thing with Carmelo Anthony trial when he has to get on the stand and say, why did you kill someone for just putting their hands on you? That's black talk. But now he has to bring that black talk and convert it over into legal talk, white man talk. And blacks have formed their own languages and their own rules and things like that, like how they go about in society. Put your hands on me, I'll kill you. Like, one of the things I'm telling you, before I finish playing the rest of this guy's video, and this pertains to the chair of the building. I've known blacks all my life. I've dealt with blacks all my fucking life. And one thing I do know, and I know for sure, is if you pull a gun on a black, you're probably gonna have to kill him. Right? That's what I do know. Because they're stupid ass people and they will force you to kill them. And I was talking to a friend of mine about the Ahmaud Arbery case. And I said, man, only a nigga would get killed in that manner. And I'm gonna see if I can show the video. This is the video. Where's the video? Yeah, here it is. And here's the video, Ahmaud Arbery. And this proves my point that when you pull a gun on a black, for you white people, you about to go to trial. Because that black, more than likely, is not going to back down from the gun. There's just a saying in the black community, like, if you pull a gun on me, you better use it. These things are true. And so I want you to watch this video on Ahmaud Arbery. And this proves my point.
Michael and their neighbor, William Roddy Bryan, have law and believe that the shooting victim was a thief.
Believing that.
Wait, look, you see the video right here? Look.
Bryan have all pled not guilty. They're claiming they were trying to make a citizen's arrest.
Look, okay, this is perfect.
Under then.
Look at this. This is perfect. Now look at Ahmaud Arbery right here. He's behind the truck. If he's really afraid of these people, couldn't he, in theory, turn the other way? The truck will have a hard time turning around. He could turn around and go the other way. But watch what he does. Ahmaud Arbery is going to run toward the truck to the right side. The man on the left side has a shotgun. And you're going to watch Ahmaud Arbery.
Travis McMichael, his father.
God damn, I want to see the Ahmaud Arbery video. It is not. Let's see. This should be 404 here. Here it is right here. This should be it. Look at this. I want you to watch this. Because again, these people in prison for this. Ahmaud Arbery was nothing but a criminal. See if we can find the video of it. Here it is.
Travis!
Here it is right here.
Gregory McMichael dials 911 at this time.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
I'm not here. Tell what's your orders.
And see, you have to even ask yourself right there, if they were intending to kill this boy, why would they call 911?
There's a black male running down the street.
Okay.
Where?
Look, this is Ahmaud Arbery. At this point, he's crossed from the left side of the truck. Now he's in the middle. Right? He's in the middle. Now, the man who has the shotgun.
I'm not here to kill the shores.
Now you see, this is Ahmaud Arbery in the white. The man in the black shirt right here is a shotgun. He's outside of the truck, on the left side of the truck. Ahmaud Arbery at this point is on the left side of the truck.
There's a black male running down the street.
Where at Satilla Shores?
I don't know what street we're on.
He runs to the right side of the truck. You seen it?
Stop right there. Stop.
Look, he's on the right side of the truck at this point. The man on the with the shotgun is on the left side of the truck. Ahmaud Arbery went from the left side of the truck to the right side of the truck to the left side of the truck and made contact with a man with a shotgun. This is what I say when blacks say, if you pull a gun on me, you better use it. Normal humans, when faced with 3 men, at least 2 men with guns, do not behave like this.
Forrest to McMichaels. Roddy Bryan is filming, and a warning, these scenes are distressing. Gregory McMichael dials 911 at this time.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
I'm not here to kill the shores. There's a black male.
At this point, Ahmaud Arbery should have turned his dumb ass around and ran the other direction. But he didn't. Why not? Why did he close ground on that man and had his fingerprints on that man's shotgun? These are very interesting things to me. Low moral values, low expectations, low self-effort, low self-worth. And this is what you're saying. This is crash out behavior. Ahmaud Arbery right there in that moment could have resolved this situation differently. But with no self-worth, no positive outlook on life, he crashed out. It's exactly what you're saying right here. There's nothing more than this. You can see it. It's clear as day. Normal human beings would not run up on 2 men, at least with guns.
Running down the street.
Where at Satilla Shores?
I don't know what street we're on. Stop right there. Stop.
There's Ahmaud Arbery going from one side of the street to the other. There's Ahmaud Arbery with his hands on the gun right there. This is Joshua Fox. This is Chud the Builder right here. Look at Ahmaud Arbery. Look at the distance he closed on those people with guns. And those white men sit in prison today. For this dumb, low IQ, low impulse black who had nothing to live for. And this is what I'm saying. Like, when dealing with blacks, you're dealing with a group of people that have nothing to live for. They have nothing to lose. Think about this shit. Put yourself in this man's shoes, Ahmaud Arbery's shoes. And how would you have responded in this situation?
Kill the shores. There's a black male running down the street.
Where at Satilla Shores?
I don't know what street we're on. Stop right there. Stop. Stop it.
Did that nigga deserve shooting or what? Huh? Did he deserve shooting or what? I'm asking you, did this man deserve shooting or what? You're gonna start having seizures like me, bro. Don't have seizures like me. I need to take my medicine right now. My fucking medicine. I've been drinking and taking the medicine on drink. But look at what you're saying here. Like, this is what I've been talking about from the beginning of this channel. Like, the revolt against civilization, the menace of the other man, What you're seeing right here is Ahmaud Arbery was an underman. He had nothing to lose. And for people encountering people like this, you stand to lose more than he does.
Stop.
Look how far he came.
Stop right there. Pivot. Stop.
This is where he is. He's on one side of the street. And look where he ended up. On the other side of the street. On the other side of the street. This boy had a death wish. On the other side of the street. This boy had a death wish. So Brave and I, we talk about why these blacks have death wishes. And Brave says it's a beauty desert thing like this. They have no motivation. I don't disagree with Brave on that. But what you're seeing right here is what the blacks do not want to admit. They rally behind young black men who live in communities where they have nothing to live for. And instead of admitting that they've created communities where people don't have anything to live for, this young black man, he was, if you were to look at the map of this place, this was like an island. He had to cross a bridge. He was not jogging. He had boots on. Maybe he was looking for a place for civility. He can't find this in his own black-ass communities. So he goes over to these white people communities and look how it all ends up. Yeah, that black attacked the white man. He did. There's no other way you can boil this down. He closed a lot of distance between the white man with a shotgun. But the blacks cannot be honest about this. Because at the root of this is, why was he even there? He was far from home. The blacks want to make up some kind of damn lie. He was jogging. He was not. It's all part of the big lie. All part of the big lie here. And so anyway, so back to this Rick Chow.
Yeah. And I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to talk about the second interview first, because this was with a member of the Richland County Sheriff's Department who interviewed you.
They both were.
Okay? Both were Richland County officers.
Yeah.
They interviewed you, right?
Yeah.
They asked you what happened.
Yeah.
They asked your details.
Yeah.
They let you give the story.
Yeah.
And you gave them this story, and after you gave the story, do you remember one of the officers telling you, don't embellish, that doesn't fit the evidence?
I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know what that means.
When you met with them, did they think you were exaggerating the story?
Objection, Your Honor, speculation of what somebody else believes.
When you gave the story to law enforcement, what was your belief when you left, when you talked to them? Do you believe they believe you were?
Objection, Your Honor, to what he believes somebody else believes.
I wouldn't.
You're asking to determine what the officer believes.
When you gave your story to law enforcement, and I want to make it clear, you told law enforcement that, and I want to make sure it's good again, I want to make sure the testimony is good. At some point, you're saying the victim had his hands up?
Yeah.
Okay. And he shot when his hands were up? I just want to make sure. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No.
So explain it to me again.
Now you hear the black is going to the Mike Brown. He had his hands up. But in reality, what happened here is the black boy had a book bag. He had his gun in his hoodie pouch, in the pouch in the front of a hoodie. He's trying to hold on to the gun in the hoodie. He lets the backpack go. He doesn't want to let the gun go. He lets the backpack go. This is why he couldn't, a 14-year-old boy, could not outrun a 50-year-old Chinese man, because he's having to hold on to the gun. This is what's not being explained. You're going to hear that.
So we can all understand.
When he was on the ground, like after he fell from being shot, It's like he was trying to roll himself over. That's when his hands was up.
Now, there's no question he fell twice.
Yes, it is.
Your testimony is that he was shot the first time.
Which?
I'm asking, you tell me when he was shot, if he fell twice. Do you know exactly when he was shot?
You said if he fell twice after the second stumble, it wasn't two fallings.
It wasn't two falls?
No.
Okay. And I guess I'm getting more confused, and you did it with the solicitor's office, but I need to know exactly what position he was in when he was shot. And if I'm not mistaken, when you were...
When you saying when he was shot, as in when he hit the ground?
No, when he was shot.
Like, oh, he was trying to stand completely up.
He was trying to stand completely up.
Yeah.
And I think when you were right here, you had him completely straight, correct?
What you mean, completely straight?
Was he standing completely up when he was shot, like this?
I mean, almost as if, yeah, almost.
And Mr. Chow, was he directly behind him?
No, not directly behind him.
If you can come down again for me and just put your body.
What they're trying to establish is that the boy had a gun. And did he, did Chow see the gun and act in self-defense? I don't think he did. I don't think he's going to be able to prove it. The blacks are going to lie either way it goes. And so he's not going to have any witnesses other than his son. The jury is not going to believe his son over a bunch of witnesses. There are a couple of black female witnesses that have also testified against Chow. One of them said that when she saw the criminal running, she said she hoped he would get away. And so that is the mindset of the people that Chow is dealing with by running their business in the ghetto. And so, I think I have that clip here of the black woman. She said, I hope he get away.
Chasing him.
Is your vantage point right there at the corner that you just pointed out to the jury?
Yes.
Tell us what you saw from that vantage point.
At that point, I saw them, Cyrus run across the street, them chasing him. I saw Cyrus trip, and he got up, and I was excited because I wanted him to continue running.
She said, you heard her say, but I was excited.
Them chasing him. I saw Cyrus trip, and he got up, and I was excited because I wanted him to continue running.
I wanted him to get away to continue running. You heard that? As a black woman, 25, 26 years for the Postal Service. She probably been harassed, intimidated, pit bulls and shit attacking her by blacks. And she said, I was excited. I hoped the little black criminal would get away.
Off the street, them chasing him. I saw Cyrus trip, and he got up, and I was excited because I wanted him to continue running.
That's what Rick Chow had to deal with in the black community there.
In the position that you saw, and I want to make sure I say this correctly, the position you saw Cyrus in when he was shot. Does that make sense? I'll make sure you understand my question before you do. Do you understand my question?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you come down from the stand and just show the jury the position, the exact position his body was in when he was shot that you saw?
Yeah. He was almost like completely up, like he was getting up like this. He wasn't here. Yeah.
Okay.
No, he was like here, but still trying to move and get up at the same time. You get what I'm saying?
I do, and I'm just confused because I thought with the solicitor's office you said he was straight up. So you're not saying he was straight
He's trying to get straight up. He's trying to get up like high and standing like this. He's trying to get to this point, but he never could get to this point. He's still stumbling, trying to catch his movement. That's what's going on.
That's what you saw.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after he was shot, what happened from that position?
He fell. He fell completely again.
Right there.
Yeah.
Didn't move any further.
It's like maybe try to turn over type of thing, maybe.
So where the body came to rest is where he was shot.
I don't know where his body came to rest because it was so many people gathered around him. I couldn't see exactly nothing. All I could see is like legs and feet, and the older lady's son was on their knees and all of that. I couldn't really. exactly see him. Like I'm looking at this desk right here.
Yes,
I couldn't literally just see everything. I see everybody huddled around.
Okay, go ahead back up there. Thank you. Now I want to go backwards to the body cam footage. You remember you said on the side of the road you talked to the officers while they were there?
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Do you remember telling the officer on the body footage that you watched the shot through your car mirror, through your rearview mirror?
No.
You do not remember that?
No.
And if I was to find testimony or anything, you would dispute saying that to anyone that did?
I don't remember that.
Is it possible you could have said that?
I don't remember that at all.
And you had mentioned that when you were driving by the scene, you were going at a very slow pace.
Yeah.
And if there was
This is gonna be so interesting. So the black was speeding by. They're gonna say, well, how fast were you going, black? I don't know. Were you going like 1 mile an hour, 2 miles an hour? Maybe. I don't know. Again, like, blacks don't have any concept of miles per hour and all this shit. And I've been telling you, in the cities, the cities have taken advantage of blacks in their lack of future time orientation. And I'm gonna say this is my thought. And a buddy of mine, the guy that calls in, he writes tickets in PG County. He's writing tickets right now. And what he says to me, he said, man, blacks don't pay tickets. They don't pay the meter. I said, what do you mean? He said, man, like they just don't pay the meter. And he said, there are millions of dollars in revenue that PG County collects and that I'm a part of. The blacks, they will not pay parking. I don't know. They'll pull up somewhere, park somewhere, run inside the store, and then they get a ticket, and then they get mad at the ticket agent for writing them a ticket, so on and so forth. And so that is that's one of the things that I've noticed over the years. You've heard me talk about these things from a black tenant standpoint. A black with a car. And see, this is one, I can't remember, maybe broke Jane. You see someone coming and tell you, John, one of the things I noticed about your tenants is that they don't have cars. I said, bro, in this city, with the technology, the underman should not have cars. This is why I covered the underman. The technology has improved to the point where the underman, if he so much as swerves into a bike lane, he's going to get a ticket. It's the underman being punished, being grounded down by technological advances. Does everyone understand what I'm saying here? The blacks have been outpaced by technology. This is my point of covering the underman. I hope everyone gets that. Brave and I would probably do a stream about the underman at some point, and he will have some thoughts about. We definitely got to do that. Matter of fact, we keep going. Brave he'll be up in a minute, and hey yo, who else is bringing these? Look, Bull Mammy, built to destroy. Destructive by nature. Who else? Beauty does. Who else bring these concepts? Johnny B. Brave. Who else brings this shit to you? Like, this is original thought, original content here. Anyway, so this is the black guy. You're gonna see how blacks don't even have a comprehension of how fast they're going. When they're driving.
Video of your car not going slow pace, would you disagree with that?
Yeah.
And so, how fast would you say you were going?
I don't know.
I need you to guess because you said you were tracking them. So how fast were you going? 1 mile, 2 miles?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know. I don't remember.
You heard him say, I don't know how fast I was going. 1 mile, 2 miles, I don't know.
I need you to guess because you said you were tracking them. So how fast were you going? 1 mile, 2 miles?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know. I don't remember.
You had mentioned in your testimony that you did not see anyone throw anything. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you said you saw the book bag laying directly on the ground?
Yeah.
It just had fallen?
When he fell, the book bag fell. The first time.
Immediately at the same spot?
Mhm. Well, no, I wouldn't say the same spot. I can't remember exactly where, but I wouldn't say the same spot. I think it kind of fell down, so I can't really remember.
Well, you testified to it, so that's why I want to make sure. You testified on direct that it fell right there. So you want to correct it now, please.
I mean, can you explain what right there is? It could be here, it could be there. You're saying right there. I don't know what right there is.
Well, I need to know because that was your testimony.
Now, this is what I'm telling you. When Carmelo Anthony gets on the stand and all that black ass, he put his hands on me. What you mean by that? I need you to explain it, flesh it out. You seeing what's gonna happen starting on Monday.
Where did the book bag fall?
On the ground.
Where?
Where?
I mean, I have to look or something. I can't just say where exactly it was on the ground.
You saw the book bag?
Yeah.
You saw the book bag on the ground?
Yeah.
It was not down a hill in some grassy area. You personally saw it?
Yeah, it was on the ground.
In your testimony, you personally saw the shoe come on?
Yeah.
So what they said is the young boy ran out of his shoe. I think that's why he tripped and fell.
Yes, okay.
Have you ever given any statements or anything to suggest that he was on the ground?
I believe so, I think.
You believe so? You have actually before to law enforcement said he was on the ground when he was shot.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, so much going on at one time. You know, like right after the incident, my mom calling my mom. So much going on. The social media thing going on. So much going on.
I got it. So much going on. So much stuff in our heads. So much to pay attention to, and then time to figure out a different story.
No, not a different story.
Well, originally you have told law enforcement that he was on the ground when he was shot. Correct?
Okay.
Not okay.
Yeah.
And we now realize that's not possible. Correct?
Yeah.
And you know that's not possible. Correct?
Yeah.
And now today you're telling something a little different. Correct?
Not just today, when I spoke with him too.
When you spoke with who?
Officer.
So basically what they're trying to confirm here is, did the man shoot the boy while he was on the ground? That's relevant because if the boy was not on the ground and he was still up and he had the firearm, was he a threat to Mr. Chow? And you see the black here doing the whole Mike Brown hands up, don't shoot, saying the black boy was down on the ground with his hands up. And the lawyer saying this clearly not possible, correct? Right? You heard that. And see, this is what I'm saying. When you see, look, someone commented. Look, I was watching it. You see this? Look. I don't know if you can see this on the screen right here. I'll pull up a little bit. You can see someone said definitely was not going to use it. I don't know what I commented here. Let's see if I can. So the 14-year-old had a gun but didn't intend to use it. Ha, 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 ha. And someone says definitely was not going to use it. Smiley face, like laughing faces. Because again, the 14-year-old boy came into the store, didn't buy anything, armed with a handgun.
Yeah.
And you know that's not possible. Correct?
Yeah.
Right. So
and now today you're telling something.
Basically what they're saying is it's not possible that the man shot the boy while he was on the ground. The blacks have run with the notion that he was shot while on the ground from the back. This is what the defense attorney is attacking.
Well, originally, you have told law enforcement that he was on the ground when he was shot. Correct?
Okay.
Not okay. And we now realize that's not possible. Correct?
Yeah.
And you know that's not possible. Correct?
Yeah.
And now today you're telling something a little different. Correct?
Not just today, when I spoke with him too.
When you spoke with who?
Officer.
But you understand, we always want to try to get someone's statement as close to the event as possible, right? Because we want to get it as accurate as possible. Is that a fair statement?
No.
You don't want to get someone's memory as close to the event as possible?
You heard that? Did you hear the black? You heard that? Listen. Listen. This is what I'm gonna tell you a personal story of my own court experience. I've told it here before, but I'll let you listen to the black.
We want to try to get someone's statement as close to the event as possible, right? Because we want to get as accurate as possible. Is that a fair statement?
No.
You don't want to get someone's memory as close to the event as possible?
I mean, yeah, but that's not fair because, no.
That's not fair. We don't want to know accurate. We don't want someone to plan. We don't want someone to think of something. Don't you want someone's memory as close to the event as possible?
No.
No? Why not?
You guys see what we're up against here? We're up against the underman in the court system. You heard what he just said. Did you all get it? Did you all get it? Listen, did you get it? Listen, did you get it? Listen, you can't have a court system with these kind of people. Listen, what the fuck he just said. These people did this shit to me. These motherfuckers did this shit to me. I'm gonna tell you, I was on trial. And the day before my trial, they had a fucking retarded woman. No lie. God's my witness. I wouldn't call her retarded. She wasn't retarded. She fucking retarded. They convinced that woman to testify against me in court. This bitch ain't got no morals. She do whatever. Who knows what they promised her? And she came in and lied on the stand. And she was so impeached because my lawyer was like, why are you saying this now 2 years later? You never told anyone this until now. This is what I'm saying. These people have no morals. They will try to convict an innocent man out of racial idolatry. It happened to me, and I'm fucking black. Imagine what they thinking about this Chinese man. Listen what this guy's saying. Listen.
But you understand, we always want to try to get someone's statement as close to the event as possible, right? Because we want to get as accurate as possible. Is that a fair statement?
No.
You don't want to get...
This is unbelievable. This is unfucking believable. I have a spirit, manifest a spirit of discordance. I don't know what that word means. I'm sorry, discordance. I have to look that up. I have an idea, but I don't know exactly what it means. So, but this is very interesting. You don't know how many felonies he got. He doesn't want things to be as accurate as possible.
Can you spoke with who? But you understand, we always want to try to get someone's statement as close to the event as possible, right? Because we want to get as accurate as possible. Is that a fair statement?
No.
You don't want to get someone's memory as close to the event as possible?
I mean, yeah, but that's not fair because, no.
That's not fair. We don't want to know accurate. We don't want someone to plan. We don't want someone to think of something. Don't you want someone's memory as close to the event as possible?
No.
No? Why not?
I mean, no.
Why not?
I don't know. But, it shouldn't matter. If something happens, something happens. It don't matter when you ask.
You got that exactly right. It shouldn't matter. When something happens, it should stay consistent. Is that a fair statement?
That's not what I just said.
DJ MLB, you're right, bro. I'm saying, like, I'm telling you from my own personal standpoint, these fucking blacks convinced a retarded black woman to lie on me in court to try to send me to prison, bro. I'm telling you, God sent the truth in my hand. And God, this black woman tried to send a nigga like me to prison. Got up on the stand and lied. And the fact that she lied benefited me because it was so outrageous that my lawyers were able to just drive a fucking truck through. But this black woman tried to send a nigga to prison. I ain't ever harmed nobody. This black bitch, this fucking black bitch, she tried to send me to prison, bro. Try to send me to prison. And you listen to this black. This motherfucker. These people, like, I don't want them on my fucking juries, man. Like, these motherfuckers, if I had shot one of these niggas stealing my bikes, this fucking black would be like, he had his hands up, but he had my bike in his hands. He came in my house. I keep telling you guys about this story. And the reason why I keep pointing out this story, because Roz girl is a pro-blackly black, right? And she's conflicted because it was a pro-black ass man in her neighborhood. He's in prison right now for killing a little young black. Like the same age as this boy right here. And Roz girl, if you'd ask her individually about this case, that case, she'd be like, oh man, that's a sad case about that black man, he shouldn't be in prison. But she supports the Cyruses, the Trayvons. So which side is she really on? The Cyruses and the Trayvon. No matter how much she may be able to zoom in on one individual case, her broader worldview is support of the Trayvons and the Cyruses and the Mike Browns. This is the reality of the matter. I'm the only nigga. Like, I call it straight. Nigga, I did street interviews with her. I ain't got no problem with Roz girl, but I call it straight. If I kill one of these fucking niggas that broke in my house, stole my bikes, Roz girl be like, well, John, did you have your bike locked up? Is there anything that you could have done to prevent him from stealing your bike? That's their worldview. That's this black man's worldview right here. You seen it. In 4K here, this Chinese man went into their neighborhood to open up a business for them. That the blacks, the Izzy bands of the world would not do themselves because they're afraid of these blacks. They're afraid of them. And so the Chinaman fills the void. The Chinaman fills the void. And so this is the outcome that the blacks don't want to accept here, that if you're not willing to do it, there are going to be some other people that are going to come in, they're going to do it, and you might not like the outcome of it. That's how it works. They need a John Galt. That's what they need. This nigga has them up. They need a John Galt.
Yeah, I ain't had that smoke for Mike Vrabel when he got caught.
Yeah. And so again, at this point, they need a John Galt in these neighborhoods. You know, CT was playing like how I talked to the guy Happy, and I think a lot of the people didn't understand that. But for a lot of these blacks, they need a strong man. And that's just the reality of the matter. And again, let me play a little bit more of this guy here. What the hell is it? Here.
So tell me what you said.
I just said when something happens. I never said nothing about being consistent or anything. I didn't say that.
Okay. So should someone's story change?
No.
No. That's what consistent means. So it should be consistent from one time to the next. Is that fair?
I mean, you said that, yeah.
You don't think a story should be consistent?
Yeah, a story is consistent.
A story is consistent.
Should be, yeah.
Should be consistent. So at one point you told a story that he was shot directly on the ground, and then today you're saying he wasn't. You agree that's not consistent?
Yeah, but I think there was a misunderstanding because I don't think the officer was really understanding what I was saying. So I think he kind of misunderstood my...
See, this is the blacks trying to protect the young black criminal to convict the Chinese man. The problem is, again, there is no replacement for the Chinese man. They looted the store. But who's going to replace the Chinese man? Not the blacks, not Izzy Bands, not Anger Man. What did Anger Man say? Anger Man said, I work as hard as possible to stay the hell away from these blacks. That's what Anger Man said.
Explanation. That's what I think.
That's what you think?
Yeah.
And a few minutes ago, I asked you, you specifically stated that you said he was on the ground when he was shot. And there was a bunch going on in your head and you were incorrect.
No, I didn't say that. I said the women was around him on the ground as I was passing back by the scene. So
A
I
moment
couldn't
ago,
see.
when I directly asked you about telling an officer or giving a statement that you said originally that he was on the ground when he got shot. That's what I asked you.
Yeah, but you just asked me something totally different for plans. You didn't ask me the same.
What?
What you asked me prior to the question that you just asked me?
Do you remember? Let's make it very simple. Do you remember at some point in time telling an officer, anybody, that Cyrus was on the ground when he got shot?
Yeah.
That's a yes.
Yeah.
That's not a confusion. That's not a trick question. That's a yes.
Yeah.
Today, you're saying that's different, correct?
Yeah.
You have met with law enforcement, solicitors, everybody in between those two times, yes?
Yeah.
And we realize the first thing that you said about shot on the ground is not possible.
No.
So at this point, what they've done is they proved that a shot on the ground, which is what the blacks were up in arms about, was not possible. Just like Mike Brown did not have his hands up. These things were not possible. So again, the blacks are being confronted with a lie, a big lie that they are living, or running behind or carrying the banner of a lie. And this is what Be Brave says when he says that this makes them psychopaths, and that they are willing to live and profess a lie that can only make you insane. And this is very interesting. This is one of the downsides of dealing with blacks, and that the hatred is so strong, and it's not just against whites. As you can see, Mr. Chow is Chinese. They will have the same animus toward me. This is the underman showing that he can't live up to society's standards. And they're trying to pull everyone else down to a level that they can compete on. This is what you're seeing. This is why John Galt led off with the revolt against civilization, the menace of the underman. Again, you guys didn't even come in here. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Man, I wish somebody got, I wish someone like Palomino Ricky would come up on the panel. But how many of you guys have ever heard of the revolt against civilization? Was John Galt the first one to bring it to you before I just pass out drunk here? You guys got to give me some feedback. Had you ever heard of that book before? Was that new to you guys? For you guys for people that want to talk race, the Hodge twins, Anton Daniels, Angry Man. If you want to talk race, bro, you got to read these type of books. As tough as it may be for you blacks, you got to keep turning the pages, because this explains everything you're seeing, right? The underman. John Galt introduces another term into the lexicon. The underman. Anyone ever heard of the book? Never. Someone never heard of it? Okay, all right. You're young boy. You're a young guy, so you probably it's not. Heard the stream again? Okay, cool. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. New to me. John Galt, a thought leader. John Galt, Be Brave. The thought leaders in this internet space here. I didn't get into him, man. I got next time. What I'm gonna do is go into the other book. Let me see. I'm gonna find you guys a couple quotes from the other book. John Galt, the making of John Galt here. Let me see if I can find a quote from the other book. Yeah. Some of my highlights from the other book. Highlights. You guys, are you interested? I don't want to bore you. Are you interested in seeing highlights from the book? What's the name of this book? Oh yeah. Excuse me. In case you're interested in buying this book, The Rising Tide of White. Is it? Oh. In case any of you are interested in buying this book, here it is. Here's the other book that I was telling you about. It's you can find it here, The Rising Tide of Color. Against White World Supremacy. This is again by Lothar Stoddard. And for those of you that are interested in some of the quotes from the book, I'll give you a quote. This is a rough one here. Blacks, hey, put the blacks out of the chat for a minute. This is too rough for the blacks. Put the blacks out of the chat because they'll fuck around and give me a strike or something. So put the blacks out of the chat before I show this. Segregation hour extends for another 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. So before I show this, put the blacks out of the chat because they fuck around and give me suspended. Here is Lothar Stoddard from the Rising Tide of Color Against White World Supremacy. And here's the Lothar. You may see this quote on the screen, and I'll read it for you in case you can't read it. Let me see if I can maximize this for you guys on the phone. Let's see. The greater part of the colored world is today under white political control. Wherever the white man goes, he attempts to impose the basis of his ordered civilization. And I'll stop there and I'll let you guys comment on that. He puts down tribal war. He wages truceless combat against epidemic disease, and he so improves communications that augmented and better distributed food supplies minimize the blight of famine. Anyone want to comment on that, what I've read so far? It is The Rising Tide of Color by Lothar Stoddard. And I ask you again, how many of you have read this, and how many of you have heard the black conservatives, or maybe even the white conservatives, talk about the rising tide of color, the underman? And this is John Galt. And so when the people ask, what makes a John Galt? And you hear the people like the Stanleys of the world talk about all the books that they've read. Well, here's what John Galt has read. You see it highlighted here, so I ain't playing no fucking games. I'm not lying to you. I could go, and this is two separate books here. Is Stanley Cross a man of many book reading? Is he showing you what he reads? Has he shown you? What is formed the Stanley Cross? You're now seeing what makes a John Galt. These are the books I read. This is the life I lived that has formed my thoughts. And I challenge you again, how many of you have read things like this? It would be a little too rough for most blacks to read. That is very honest. But I am a man that have done very well for myself. I was a software developer. I was able to, play my role even in software. And, I wasn't the greatest software developer. There was always white guys that I can acknowledge that were better than me, but I was able to compete. And I want to play something for you. We're transitioning here. It's my nigga. I want to play something for you. It's my nigga.
I learned this, again, over a period of years, but there's 53 guys on the active roster. And there's now 15 guys on the practice squad. So there's 68 players. But those practice squad players are important because if anybody on the active roster gets hurt, they can get elevated to the squad. Well, there was times where these 15 guys would do really well in practice. And they'd be practicing and you'd be like a scout team receiver. And I saw this happen a lot. These scout team receivers would come in and practice with the scout team. And they do really well. And I'd be watching. I'd be like, man, we got to get that guy. Like, let's get him up on offense. He's making a lot of plays. That's Darrelle Revis he's getting open on. Like, we got to do something. Then all of a sudden, we're like, hey, man, you're doing really well. You got to come over here and deal with the pressure of succeeding now that you have expectation. And these guys are like, they weren't prepared for it. So whatever we saw in practice against where there was not a lot of pressure, now, when they're put in a situation where there's an expectation for performance, they've never had to personally deal with that. And then they fail. And then what I realized was a lot of guys in those practice squads, they don't want to be elevated to the roster. They're very happy living this life where they could tell their family and friends, which I have no problem with that. Like, there's no problem. Like, you would just assume, though, that if you're on the practice squad, you'd want to be at the top.
My nigga Tom Brady. Y'all niggas don't even get what he just said there. And Be Brave and I, we will be covering this sometime next week. Master Cam and I, we will be covering this whole child situation next week. So we have a lot to look forward to. If anyone wants to hop up on a panel, I've done 3 hours here. Nothing but dope. No one else, I don't think, could do this whole revolution. What is it? The revolt against civilization. The Underman. John Galt comes through again. I can't wait to be brave. Listen to this, my nigga. Be brave. Did y'all hear what Brave said about me the other day? Did y'all hear what Brave said about me the other day? Well, y'all got to hear what Brave said. Brave, let's see. I got to find it. I got to find this. My nigga Brave. That's my nigga right there. Where? Let's see. It's about right here. Let's see. Nah, it must have been about right here. I got it though. I think this is it. That's it. Hey, but yeah, CT, give us an update, man. When you coming back? You want what happened? Blah blah blah.
It's really neither here nor there about what happened, but I'll be back on about June 10th, maybe June 10th. Yeah.
You guys have to make sure you subscribe and have your notifications and everything turned on.
Yeah. Yeah. How much longer are you gonna be on?
I don't know, man. You know, I don't have a set schedule here.
Okay.
I got
When are you
university here.
When are you gonna talk? When are you gonna talk about the 70-year-old man?
Man, what I want to talk about is the South Carolina versus Rick Child trial.
Oh, okay.
Because that like follows up with what I the title of this stream is like. I don't think that Chinese man would have stalked that boy down and killed him like that. If he were in a white neighborhood, you know,
Probably not.
You
Yeah,
wouldn't have
probably
people
not.
killing
It
like
might
that.
nigga
be brave.
Yeah.
Be
brave, my nigga.
Like
This
the
my
blacks
nigga,
driving
yeah.
people. How do I get? There's no J Street. There's I. There's K. There's L. There's M. There's B. There's A. But there's no J Street. And if you think about where J would be basically perpendicular to the White House. Because K is to the north of the White House. So J would be south because it goes in alphabetical order. So K is to the north of the White House. So J would be basically intersecting.
You know what immediately comes to mind, John? They don't name it J Street because of the overwhelming influence a particular group of people have. They don't want to attract any further attention to it.
Yeah, well, it could be. I'm not sure. But
Because K Street, K Street is the place where all the money is. So the J Street, they probably don't want to attract it. We don't need to be adjacent or anything close.
Yeah.
Just leave it out.
You know, the thing is, like, one of the things that, I want to point out here is, by the fact that I'm here in D.C., and I think D.C. is a very interesting city. You hear all the phone calls, people coming here from all over the world. It provides somewhat of I guess New York would be similar. And you see me, how many of you guys, and there's some new people in the audience, who remembers when I went in the whorehouses in New York? Does anyone remember that? I have forgotten all about that shit. Does anyone remember I went in the whorehouses in New York? I'm curious to know. Anyone remember that? What was it the whorehouses? The whorehouses. Man, we've done a lot of things here. Yeah. Here's one. Here's a interesting video. The whorehouses in New York.
Every woman in your family is a hoe.
John,
Yeah.
you went into it. You went into
Well,
it.
I'm not gonna lie.
A
lot of them are. $40 though. Tomorrow.
John went into it.
My fat
Tomorrow. I'll come back
Y'all
tomorrow.
missed this
I
train.
promise
Did
you.
y'all miss this train?
Look, these my people. These my people right here. Say hello. You train me in here. You train me in here. So I'll come back tomorrow. I promise you. Let me see what it look like. Let me see. Let me at least see what it look like.
You don't remember this shit?
It's good.
It's a good bed. It's a good bed. Let me see how it's.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this motherfucker being hard. Oh God. What else you got? Oh, somebody been in there with her.
Hurry up and come. Hurry up and come.
Tomorrow. No money today. Tomorrow. I promise you tomorrow.
John, you were in the belly of the beast right there, man.
That was on Roosevelt Avenue in Queens. And we've done so much here, so much content here. Sometimes I forget about some of the shit that we've done. Like it's been so much shit, like Jesus Christ. I forgot all about that. Yeah, I see Palomino and Ricky, you remember that one. And so many people are probably fairly new to the channel. They probably don't remember me going in the whorehouse there. There was something else that was interesting. You remember? Does anyone remember this? Yeah. Anyone remember this right here? since you say that, that makes a lot of sense. Let me do that right now while I'm thinking about it.
You telling me?
No, I'm just talking out loud. Actually, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Remember, I'm a security guard, so I only get one post. You know what I'm saying?
So at your one post, you think maybe 1,000 people come in and out that door?
Well, not on a daily basis, but give or take.
All right, so let me let me get into this video here. And
what I do like is that they really try to like help them be a part of society, though. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, at the end of the day, the more people that we have willing to work and try to become better, we're gonna have more kids with cars and families and houses. You know what I'm saying? Active people in the community, active citizens. You know what I'm saying?
do you think the government should help? You know, because they're up toward the I guess that would be the northern part of the street. I guess. They're toward the corner with that big brown building. Beyond that building is the family shelter, correct? That's what I was told.
Well,
so
beyond that, there's a men's, and there's a family.
Right.
Family.
Right, and at the corner is the family.
Listen. I have a few opinions. I feel like if they could make a whole facility for women and kids, you understand? Or let's just say, because we're gonna have to separate that, and it'll be better like that. You keep the women with the women, you keep the men with the men.
Do you think they should give those families apartments? Like, you don't want to keep them in there forever, right?
You don't want to keep them there forever either. And that's why I say I want to teach them the language. I want to get them more educated. You understand? Because in these places, some of these places, they don't even have hospitals where they live. You understand?
Yeah.
Some places don't even have schools, brother. You know what I'm saying? So if we can get them educated, make them smart, have them have manners, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they don't have a lot of trash cans. Let's say in certain places, some places they don't even have trash cans, huh?
Yeah.
You understand? But if we accommodate them,
man, that was some old dope there. I forgot all about that shit. That was some old dope right there. There's immigration. That was from an immigration standpoint. And then when you think about how we progressed to today, and no one else but John Galt has brought you the full spectrum. Here is what you see here.
What we can have is that solidarity, because our cause are our cause. So we all know that we want to be able to eat. You know, we should all be able to eat, to flourish, to be able to be happy in this city. And so whatever that looks like to you is what needs to be communicated to the powers that be.
Solidarity with whom? Could you describe who need to be in solidarity with? I'm confused.
For me, that's black and brown people throughout the city. Well, I'm not sure what the issue is there. If it's a numbers game, we have the same problem. Hey, got the numbers, what we can have is that solidarity, because our cause are.
And so what you're seeing is that in these videos that the blacks, the black men, I think, are identifying with the Hispanics, particularly black men, if they're doing okay for themselves, they can go get them a Hispanic woman, so on and so forth. But by and large, a lot of the blacks are seeing that this whole black and brown coalition is not working in their favor. You don't hear many Hispanic people talking about the black and brown coalition. That's some black shit. I've never heard a Hispanic person, hey, in the black and brown coalition. I don't hear that. And I think you can see the reaction of the blacks in the audience there to the guy talking about the black and brown coalition, that they're finally seeing the light, that there is no black and brown coalition. The browns are not willing to share the spoils of their labor with the blacks. The blacks are looking for government handouts. The Hispanics are not willing to, side with the government handouts for the blacks. Maybe for their own people, but not for the blacks. And so this is a very interesting time. This is the underman. You've seen me lead up to this from the Popeyes, the blacks saying they won't work in Popeyes and so on and so forth. I only work when it's warm outside. You've heard me. You've seen all the street interviews. This is the Underman. Most of you never heard this before. MLB, you ever heard of the Underman before?
No, this is my first time, man. I'm gonna use that shit. I can't wait to use that shit. It's a perfect word.
Ooh, you gotta give it to me, like
Yeah, I do gotta give it to you, man. Underman, like that's perfect right there.
The key quote in the Underman. This is what my buddy Philippe, we laugh about this shit all the time, bro. Because my buddy Philippe, he a nigga that keep it real.
Yeah.
He keep it real. And this is the quote from the Underman that spawned this stream, to be honest with you. This is the quote that Philippe said. John, you got to talk about that clip from the Underman. And I said, which one? And he said, the one you told me? And I said, oh, yeah. And here is that clip. I want you to comment on this, MLP.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Give me 1 second. Damn. I know I had it up here. Shit. Let me see. Where is it? Where the fuck did I put it? But anyway, the quote was, the Underman is often in jail. The torment of society. Civilization has moved so far that he's often in jail. Like, what is the Underman to do here in society?
Right. I got you. Underman's been left behind.
Yeah.
He can't keep up. He can't keep up, so he winds up finding himself in jail. Dude, it reminds me, I don't know if you ever read the book. There's that Alcoholics Anonymous is a group. It was based on a book that was written by two guys back in the 1940s, and the book is actually very, very interesting if you read it. They talk about a character in the book called the Jaywalker. They use him as a kind of a metaphor, and he's a guy. He kind of is like the Underman. I can't remember the exact words, but it reminded me of that when you were reading it earlier.
Yeah.
This comparison to the Jaywalker, they called him, was very similar.
Yeah, the Lothrop Souder quotes. I was looking for the quote about he's often in jail. But that book is very, very interesting. It had a big effect on me because it mirrored a lot of the things that I see as a landlord to blacks. To be honest with you, as ugly as that sounds,
So let me ask you: is he directly talking about race? Is he talking about black people directly?
Like, look at this. Look at this. I'll zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in. Hold on. But he is talking about race, yeah.
That's rough shit, man. People have to read that shit.
And so here's what he says. And you may not be able to see it for the people on their phones.
I see it.
He said, this civilization. He said, now, I'll start at the beginning. Now, how does the Underman look at civilization? This civilization offers him few benefits and fewer hopes. It usually affords him little beyond a meager subsistence. I'm going to stop there and tell me who you think about when I say that.
You said what was the last word? Mere what?
Subsistence.
So like necessities?
Yeah. This civilization usually affords him little beyond a meager subsistence.
So just the bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
Yeah.
Who does that remind you of in the YouTube virtual world?
Kind of like Boyd.
It's JP.
JP, good example.
Right, because JP gets Section 8, he gets food stamps, we get whatever. That's the meager subsistence.
That's just the minimum what you need to get by.
It's the minimum what you need to get by. And for the underman, if you give him that, he's happy. Correct?
Right. Well, not this underman. Not in the story.
You can't tell me JP's not happy with.
Well, JP's happy, but it sounds like in the way that they were talking about him in the book.
What I'm saying is, as technology advances, the government can't take care of all these people. The government can take care of JP, the lowest of the underman, but it can't take care of the man in the middle who's still an underman,
right?
Who's not on Section 8. He's caught in the middle. He can't swim fast enough to compete with everyone else. And this world has passed him by. You understand? Listen, I tried to explain to you people is I was a software developer. But that's a high skill industry, you know. There were always white guys that were like better than me. Always. I was good enough to be competent. But if they could find another white guy, he could replace me. But he's probably doing his own thing, and he's hard to find. And so that is what Tom Brady. Did you hear what Tom Brady just said?
Yeah. I get what he was saying. Yeah, absolutely.
There are a lot of blacks that are not starters. They're on the practice squad, and if you elevated them to the starting, the pressure will
get
bust
to
that
them.
pipe. It'll bust that pipe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that is the black man's existence. You understand?
Yeah.
They want to be elevated to the 18, but in doing so, that pressure bursts the pipe.
Yep.
They should stay down in the Negro leagues. And John Galt's in the Negro leagues. I heard the dumbass blacks. Like I'm the king over here. I'm King Rooster over here.
So they could have the talent to do it, but they just couldn't handle it. If they moved up, it'd be too much for them, so they would fail.
I mean, there's like, bro, like the higher you go up, and I'm just speaking brutally honest. Most blacks aren't gonna speak this brutally honest. Again, in every job I've worked, except for when I started becoming like a specialist, because I specialize in marketing software. In other words, like you go to the doctor, hey, my allergies are flaring up. That's a general practitioner, GP or whatever, right? You don't really care who that is.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have someone who's gonna open up your brain,
brain surgery or heart surgery,
you have higher standards for that.
Cardiologist or whatever. Yeah.
Right. That's a specialist. I talked about that the other day about, like, say, O.J. Simpson's defense team.
Yeah, the dream team.
And Cochran with the flair. The white men were the specialists.
Yeah, Dershowitz was, yeah.
Alan Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey. They were the specialists. When I was on trial, I hired a specialist.
Yeah.
I ain't fucking had some fucking GP.
Yeah, just some regular lawyer,
right?
Jack of all trades.
I need someone who truly believed in the Second Amendment.
Yep.
With Chud the Builder, you're seeing why blacks can't be First Amendment lawyers, because look at academics. Could he be a First Amendment lawyer? He's smart enough to go through law school. You'd have to give him that much credit. He can make it through law.
He probably could, yeah.
Right. But would you hire him to be your First Amendment lawyer?
Oh no, never. You never. I wouldn't hire him to be any type of lawyer. He'd be
Maybe
one of the low. He'd be a public defender. He'd be a public defender.
Public defender, contest some type of bullshit ticket or something like that.
Yep.
But that's about the extent of it. And that is what I think the large extent of blacks' fate is. They're not the 18. They're not gonna fucking come in like when the game is starting. At best, they can come in garbage time. There's nothing wrong with that. What did Tom Brady say? There are plenty of people that are okay with coming in or just making a living as practice players.
Yeah.
They're making more money than most people. They're living better and perceive. You got to be able to cast down your buckets where you are. Right?
Yeah.
Right? In the NFL, which is a pure meritocracy, people are forced to admit that I'm not a starter. I think in America, by and large numbers of blacks are not starters, but they think they are.
Right.
That's a problem. That's a serious problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, they think they are.
Right. Yeah. And it's the underman. Right.
Yeah, and this whole DEI business has messed it all up because it puts them sometimes on the same level as people that are.
What did Lothrop Stoddard say about government? Remember what he said about government?
That's why you see some of these people in these roles where they don't belong.
He said inefficient government will lead to social revolution. Right? You remember he said that? DEI
that testimony though was amazing to listen to from that witness in the self-defense case. I'm not really familiar with that case. What the guy was trying to rob him.
Oh, you breaking up a little bit.
You're freezing up. I don't know.
Is it me or you? I don't know if it's me or you.
Am I still making it?
Yeah, I hear you now. Go ahead. It may be
the testimony that you played.
You see this coming on the screen right here?
Phenomenal.
Hey, MFB, you see this coming on the screen right here? What do you think about this?
The inferior elements are simply consciously enemies of civilization, and they are examined by chance because they are more or less uncivil.
You think Stanley has ever read this book? You think Stanley ever read this book? You love to read, don't it? What do you think about this quote right here?
I've never heard of anyone bring this up. Damn, there's something. Yeah.
What do you think about this quote, though?
I mean, it's hard to argue with it when you apply it to blacks. There's not too many avenues you can debate that with.
Why do you think you've never heard of any of this from any YouTuber before?
Well, because it would be for them to hear this, for them to even hear you talking about it, they're going to be furious, and it may even break some of them.
The inferior elements are instinctively the enemies of civilization. Do you agree with that, MFP?
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with it, yeah.
Audience, what do you think? They are its enemies, not by chance, but because they are more or less uncivilizable. You said earlier that these people shouldn't be on juries. Right? You said earlier they shouldn't be on juries. We must remember that the level of society never coincides with the level of its human units. Do you understand what he's saying right there, MFP?
What you showed with there with that witness. That's what you. That's the problem. When you try to, I mean, they're just not capable. They're destructive.
These are academics. He's no different than that witness on the stand, and he's a millionaire.
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Right. A lowly black and a millionaire, they all kind of think the same as it relates to like what what ultimately allows you to maintain white civilization. Is that correct?
Yeah.
This is what Lothrop Stoddard said in, I think, the 1800s. And so, again, these are things that, the blacks that don't live around other blacks, like, they can't think about these things the same way that I think about them. This is why Angry Man said, like, why I gotta live around blacks to understand blacks? Because they still out. Listen, you see this fucking back door right here?
Yeah.
My fucking back door was open when that black came up and stole my bike.
Yeah.
I was ready to walk out of the house, bro. I could have killed a nigga.
Yeah. You could have walked right into him.
Right, I could have walked. And so I keep saying, like, whose side with all these niggers? Whose side with all these Cyruses and Trayvon? Whose side would they been on?
Automatically.
Kill that fucking nigga.
The thief. The thief.
All the fucking blacks that I talked to and all this, they would have been on their thief side. You've heard the blacks. I bring them up on the channel. Well, John, why you ain't have your bike locked up? Why you ain't have fucking 3, 4, 5 chains on the motherfucker? I'm gonna tell you something. Every time I have to bring my fucking bike inside, it pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah.
Every fucking time. I gotta pick that motherfucker up and bring it in my house. And I'm thinking about these nasty ass tires that's been rolling around on the street, niggas spitting on the street, and I gotta bring it inside of my house. It pisses me off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bought a lawnmower and he delivered it to Lisa's house, and the white man was just complimenting how safe the neighborhood is. How you can just leave a lawnmower outside, ain't nobody gonna steal it. And I think about how I gotta bring all my shit inside, stuff all this shit in this motherfucker.
Yeah, because you're in literally like one of the worst places for that type of shit.
I'm gonna tell you, let me tell you a story. Ain't nobody got the dope like this. So the house that the nigger was in, the one that threatened the old man.
Yeah, yeah.
I rented a room next door to the old man to a Filipino. I rented a room next door to the old man to a Filipino.
Yeah.
And so the Filipino was moving in, and the old man was like, I'm so happy you got a good person here, not this crazy nigger. He was happy to see a third world Filipino nigger than his own kind. The man came up to me. He said, man, bro, you got gonna be, he don't seem like he gonna be no problem, bro. Glad you got rid of that nigga. You got gonna be good, man. Like think about that, man. Like self-consciously. Here's a black man coming to you saying, I'm glad you got rid of that black. And you brought a foreigner in here. Cool, no problem. He ain't gonna be no problem. As an old man, this guy's like 70. Glad you brought this foreigner in here.
Just think about how the fact that his life, he in order for that to be, think about how he must have really feared that black.
Bro, he left the house. Bro, dude, I don't know if you heard it. Listen, I see, this is the other thing I want to explain to MFP. By the fact that he lived in a black neighborhood, 2 doors up, or even next door, he could have gone there and crashed there until everything blew over.
Yeah.
But if he lived in a white neighborhood, been displaced by, government gave him a Section 8 voucher. You go live in a white neighborhood. You go live in GW, Town. He wouldn't have had a black neighbor that would have allowed him to sleep on his couch.
Right.
So that is the benefit of the blacks kind of staying to their home. And so he stayed at the next door neighbor's house a couple of days. But the black man ran this man out of his own house, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Well, he pays rent. And so this is what I'm trying to explain to people. In the inner cities, this is why they have to build senior citizen housing. You understand?
Because you can't have them, they can't get along.
Because blacks have no respect for elders.
Yeah.
I've had my buddy Red up here on the channel. His mom was robbed,
yeah,
and attacked in a senior citizen housing dwelling.
Yep.
Why? Because the senior citizen end up having their YNs living with them.
Yep.
And then they end up robbing the people. That's why the cities have to build up the senior citizen housing, and the blacks end up corrupting that. And so that, is, the basis of this whole underman, the whole social order of things.
Yeah.
Just stymies blacks. And they ultimately end up in jail. And I've seen it over and over.
But the idea that the man actually moved out of his own place where he pays rent, you said he's been with you how many years?
At least 10.
10 years, and
houses.
some black piece of shit moved in and threatened the man. Did he say what the man said to him?
Yeah. You want me to explain it to you?
Yeah. What actually did he say?
I'll explain to you what happened. So the old man is bald head, like me.
Uh-huh.
The black man, you saw his picture, he has a lot of hair.
Yeah.
So when he cuts his hair, that shit is like Brillo.
Yeah.
When it goes down the drain, it stops up the drain.
Uh-huh.
The old man said to me, he said, "Hey, John, can you come unstop the toilet because it stopped up because the guy was cutting his hair." So I go up and I unstop the tub. The young black guy goes to the old man and says, "Hey, bitch, stop snitching on me." And grabbed his phone, snatched his phone from him, threw it down, and spit on it.
Oh, man.
And so basically what he was saying is, yeah, I stopped up the tub. You better not fucking tell the landlord that I did it. You understand? This is how blacks, this is the tragedy of the commas. Do you understand?
Yeah, I know. I get it.
The old man said, "Hey, John, I don't want to point no fingers at anybody. I don't want no problems. Just can you come on and stop the tub?" I said, "Okay, cool. I'll come on and stop the tub." The black man goes to the older man and say, "What the fuck you tell that landlord that I stopped the tub up for, bitch, and stop snitching?" And he snatches his phone, throws it on the ground, and spits on it. You see, do you understand the anger there?
Man again, the old man?
Hmm?
How old is the old man again?
He's damn near 70.
Jesus Christ.
He's been with me like 10 years, right? He went in his room. I mean, this old man is wafer thin, bro. He's 140 pounds.
Man, that guy, man, who did that is really just.
And so the old
man.
Listen, it may be the old man says, like, the young nigger sent me a text message one day, and I showed it on screen. So I got a couch in the room. I got the room all laid out. He said, "Hey, man, can I move the sofa?" I said, "Nigga, what? You just moved in? What the fuck are you talking about? You want to move the sofa?" He said, "Yeah, I'll work out." I said, "Nah, you can't move the sofa." So he starts working out in the hallway.
Was he doing like jail workouts or some shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the old man goes outside in the morning, smokes a cigarette, talk to the other old black men up the street, the one that he ended up staying with. So when he comes in, the young nigga doing his workouts in the hallway. And the old man can't get to his room because the young nigga doing his workouts. He don't want to be interrupted. So the old man said, fuck it, I'll go back outside and just wait till this nigga finish his workouts.
Jesus Christ.
This is what the blacks do to other blacks. This is why they have to build
that guy must have done some considerable time in prison. Did he ever say if he went? I'm sure he's been in prison if he's doing that.
Well, he slings dick for a living.
Yeah.
Like he slings the big fat black women. Because he exercises and he's in very good shape.
Yeah.
So he slings dick to fat black women who just want a man. This is what Black America is like. No one wants to talk about this. Like that's what he does. Like they were sending me cash apps for his rent.
That's who's paying his rent.
Yeah, like a couple times he would pay with his unemployment. See, this is how blacks live. For those who don't know, blacks have like let's just say a 3-month life cycle. It could be longer, where they can go work and then they get in some kind of problem on their job, they get fired, and they collect unemployment. So basically, I was collecting his unemployment. See how that works?
Yeah.
And so,
I get it.
So a lot of these blacks, that's my income source. They are basically government appendages.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
be
it goes
it
directly to you.
unemployment, be it the First Amendment can knock your ass out over saying something they don't like, or welfare, DI, they are in many, many ways government appendages. You understand?
Yeah.
Even as it stands from landlord-tenant law, the blacks, and for a white man, you're not going to understand this. Blacks do not understand. Like, remember the black that was like, I know I can't pay my rent, but can I at least use the Wi-Fi? Remember that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's how, like, blacks can't conceptualize these things. They're not intelligent enough. Nigga, the
They don't
Wi-Fi
understand
ain't free.
that's not acceptable
It's not
to do.
free, right? It's not free. And just like Verizon, I had to cut his shit off. But he kept asking, like, there is no facility to ask Verizon, hey, man, can I use the Wi-Fi even though I can't pay for it? So technology, America's sophistication.
That's really pretty sad that they can't grasp these concepts.
Right. But America's sophistication, Verizon is outside of the nigger babble.
Right.
They just cut their shit off.
Yeah,
And
they
there's
can't
AI
get,
to deal with that black.
there's no avenue for them to even.
Right. But I can't afford AI to deal with the blacks who can't afford rent, and your code has been cut off, the Wi-Fi has been cut off. So they're writing me and texting me showing how down low and much of an underman that they are.
Yeah.
Like, remember, there was one black that was sitting outside of my house using my Wi-Fi to beg other people for money.
Yeah.
They can't even keep their phones on. These are the undermen, right? You understand?
Yeah,
These
we've seen
are
a
the
lot of
undermen.
them come and go from your place.
Right.
A lot of undermen.
They are the undermen.
You know the guy who walked right past the Mexican guy who was doing the work in your house? He walked right past him.
These are the undermen.
He could have been doing.
Yeah. And this is what they don't want, this is what no one else is talking about here. The blacks have more or less rendered themselves useless in American society, in my opinion. Can you name anything you outside of sports that you would hire them for above a Hispanic or white person?
Well, there's a black guy I know here who does a really good job detailing my car. Actually, hire him. It's the only thing I can think of really.
Fair enough, detailing the cars. But in my neighborhood, the Hispanics detail the cars.
Yeah,
And I don't even get them. So there you go. You know, Messi, MLB, have you heard about what's going on in the NFL?
Not really.
I'm gonna tell you a story. A buddy of mine, the caller that was on the call the other day, he was telling me that a friend of his told him that he doesn't watch the NFL much anymore. And he said the reason why was because of Kaepernick.
Okay.
For years, I've been telling the same black, I can't watch the NFL anymore because of the whole Kaepernick shit.
Yeah.
I was a 49er fan. I used to travel all over the country for the 49ers.
But you lost interest after him.
If they were anywhere on the East Coast, from Miami to New York, from Boston, I was there.
Yeah.
To watch the 49ers. But because I love Steve Young, man, and I didn't see Joe Montana as much, but Steve Young was my nigga. I love Steve Young, man. I actually met Bill Walsh. I met Bill Walsh in North Carolina. Yeah.
So you must have seen them play when they were, when they were back Jerry Rice.
Yeah, I watched them all, Jerry Rice, but I didn't get, when I was of age to go to the games, Steve Young was the quarterback. And I used to love Steve Young, man. I ain't gonna lie. I love the way he played the game. Very intellectual.
Yeah, he was great quarterback.
Right. He was left-handed, which made him different because I'm left-handed. I write with my left hand. And so to go from Steve Young to Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's a big drop. For a guy like me who had watched Joe Montana to Steve Young, bro, you can't go there.
Yeah.
You see that, and so I just stopped watching, like I was a 49er fan, and when Kaepernick came on and started doing that bullshit, I just couldn't watch it anymore.
I was a big Patriots, obviously, my years was Brady was the guy there but when Brady left, I stopped watching too, kind of. I mean, I don't pay attention nearly what I did before.
Have you heard what's going on with the Jackson Dart?
No.
I want to, let's see if I think I have a clip. I'll play it for you.
You said the Jackson what?
Jackson Dart is the quarterback for the New York Giants.
Okay. I didn't even know that's how out of football I am.
Yeah. And so what happened is Jackson Dart, I'll start with this. Jackson Dart is a Trump supporter, something to that effect.
Okay.
So here's Jackson Dart. Here's Trump saying, "Thank you, Jackson. It was great being with you." Here's his wife. You can imagine the Negro fragility just kicking in at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the black players on the New York Giants team are saying, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like, here's Jackson Dart.
There's probably going to be questions that involve off the field topics, and for that, I have a statement, and I hope I can answer as many of those questions that y'all may have. And I ask that can talk about football after that, and I hope that we can understand and respect that from each other.
So that's Jackson Dart. And you see his response from Trump, so on and so forth. Here's Jameis Winston.
I'm proud of Jackson and Abdul for having this conversation, getting in front of y'all and speaking what they would love. I'm proud of our team for understanding that, like, we don't have to pick a side in this.
And you see this is Jameis Winston, and I think this is Abdul. This is Abdul Carter, and this is the linebacker on the team. I don't know if I have him, but anyway, here he is. Yeah, I do have him. Here he is.
And this is one of those things. Jackson is one of our leaders. These things are bigger than football. So first off, I'm going to say that some things are bigger than football, and this is one of those things. Jackson is one.
And see, that's the thing, MLB. If you are a linebacker for a football team, is there anything bigger than football from the standpoint of the team that hires you? It's nothing. They don't want to hear your fucking politics.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about that.
Tackle, shed blocks.
Yeah.
That's all they want you to do.
Yeah.
But he, as a linebacker, he sees that there are things that are bigger than football. This is the underman talk.
So first off, I'm going to say that some things are bigger than football, and this is one of those things. Jackson is one of our leaders. He's the face of our franchise.
And so the problem, again, MLB is Jackson Dart is a relatively young man.
Yeah.
If he were Tom Brady, this black would not be talking like this.
Okay, I get you.
But Jackson Dart has not proven himself. So the blacks are challenging him.
Because they hate Trump so much, yeah.
Well, they hate white people.
Hate white people, yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
so an unproven white man to a black in an organization, I'm speaking higher here.
Yeah.
If you're in an organization, you got an unproven white man. He may be qualified, he may be good, but to the blacks, they're going to challenge him.
Right.
This is what this guy is doing. You see this?
Yeah.
It's bigger than the sport. It's bigger than the business. It's bigger than what I hired you to do.
Mm-hmm.
You hear him saying this, right? Listen.
So first off, I'm going to say that some things are bigger than football.
Bigger than what we hired you to do. You heard him?
So what's he? What did he say? I want to hear what he says after that.
All right, I'll play it.
And this is one of those things. Jackson is one of our leaders. He's the face of our franchise. He not only represents himself and what he does, but he represents all of us. And that goes for anybody who wears a Giants uniform. But if he chooses to align himself with a man like President Trump, it's my responsibility, based on what I believe and what I stand on, to not only show my teammates that I'm against that, but to show the world. And that doesn't...
Jesus Christ.
How can you have a team with someone willing to buck the leader? You can't have it.
You can't. Work. That's going to be that's that created already shows that he can never be a real team player.
You see what DiCaprio? Yeah, he can't be. They're gonna have to get rid of this guy. He's just a linebacker. You know, the quarterbacks. If Jackson Dart is worth anything, they're gonna have to keep Jackson Dart and get rid of this guy. Because again, like, imagine in practice if this guy who's a linebacker rolls up on Jackson Dart's ankle and sidelines him for the season. Do you think people are going to be thinking that, damn, maybe he hated Jackson Dart?
Yeah.
Imagine anyone else now in the NFL, 16, 17 games they're going to play. Anyone could hit him high, hit him low, trying to injure him.
Yeah.
Because of his thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
The blacks are basically telling the whites, get out of the NFL because our political thought reigns supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And the only really whites in the NFL, for the most part, are offensive linemen and quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Right? That's true.
Yeah, there's no running backs, no white running backs.
Yeah, one or two, a handful here and there.
Yeah.
And this guy's Muslim. I don't know if you know that. This guy's Muslim.
Oh, of course he is, yeah.
I didn't know he's Muslim, but you know. You see what DiCaprio says? He says, John, I really didn't have any idea what it takes to secure your position at the altar of justice, but I now recognize you. Yeah, I think a lot of these blacks are like faking. whenever MLB, whenever I see Angry Man up on these liberal black channels, I say like he's clearly not very conservative.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I
How
agree
do
with
you
you.
like if I get up there on these black spam, I'm calling their ass black, stupid ass niggas. I want to argue with their ass. He want to get up there in the words of blacks and maintain his invite to the cookout.
Yeah.
He wants to maintain like relevance with the blacks.
Yeah.
I said, man, fuck these people. I don't give a damn if they like me or not. Who cares? Right?
Yeah, but he's not doing that.
He wants to be in good stead with these black people.
Yeah.
When in reality, what is there to benefit from being like in their good graces? They're probably not much.
You know, I was actually thinking, I was telling my wife recently. She listened to that guy, Black Conservative Perspective. He's got a YouTube channel. You've probably seen him before.
Mm.
And I was telling her, I was like, "Do you think he's really a conservative at heart?" And she was like, "Yeah. Well, why wouldn't he be?" I was like, "Well, I mean, do you think he really believes the stuff that he's saying, or is this he's just playing a part?" Because I mean, who knows?
I think
Your point makes sense.
I think up until a race, like I think race is what stymies them. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
they could be conservative. Yeah, I believe in marriage. I don't believe in gay marriage. I don't believe in LGBT and all that. Now, you may find common ground with them in that.
But there'll always be the race issue.
Right. Like, as I was telling you about my buddy, his friend of many, many years finally felt comfortable telling him that he doesn't watch the NFL because of Kaepernick.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't go full bore. Right. Like, I probably go more full bore about even on this channel, like, I don't fucking watch no NFL because of fucking Kaepernick and the blacks.
Yeah.
They took over that shit, the social agenda, Jay-Z and all that shit. I don't fucking watch. I can't watch it. It's disgusting to me.
Yeah.
His white friend can't tell him that. I tell him that. His white friend can't tell him that.
Yeah.
And that is the blind spot that I think a lot of blacks existing in here in America is that white people don't feel honest being, white people don't feel comfortable being honest with blacks.
You can't be, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I see it all the time.
I was telling people a while back, MLB, I was working in the Department of Justice, and a good friend of mine, still a good friend of mine, he wanted to tell me about this website, but he couldn't email me or text me. So he wrote it down on this Post-it note and put it on my desk. And the website was stuff black people don't like. It's now under Amarin or Huns or something like that. But all the other white guys, I'm sure, were talking about it. And as I was saying earlier, I think black people are going to have to kind of check in.
Yeah.
With white people.
They kind of do sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of do sometimes.
I think it's going to become more prevalent.
My the woman who babysits the girl, the 24-year-old girl babysits my daughter. She's light skinned. She's a light skinned, very pretty black girl. She's 24, but she made it a point when she was having a conversation about my wife. She was talking about other blacks, and she was using the hard ER. She's a full black. She's married to a black guy, but she made it a point to say, "I'm not like," her point is I see them the same way that you see them is what, and I was thinking, because I was like, we don't even know her that well. Like, that's kind of crazy. She was saying that like that already, but I think that's what she was trying to do.
Yeah, I think blacks are now, because that Kenyan black American that you heard on the phone, and I didn't get a chance to record it all, but he basically was checking in with me.
Yeah.
He was saying, "Hey man, I've had a lot of problem with landlords not wanting to accept me because, and he said because I'm black, but he says I got this, I got that, my credit score is this, I got that, this, and he's more or less saying like I'm honorable and you know I'm decent.
Yeah.
That the white people don't have to do that because their reputation is they're already decent.
Right. Yeah.
But I think the blacks in America are going to have to start kind of checking in, and that's very interesting.
Yeah, and he was honest about it. You said he told you he had like a 500 credit
Yeah.
score. That shows that he was not being he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
That's not a great credit score, so
not.
that speaks in his favor.
But he's a delivery driver, Uber or whatever the hell.
Yeah, yeah, and he was talking about the Mexicans about how they clean up and that shit.
Yeah. And so anyway, I think that's very interesting because not many other YouTube channels would talk about how this dynamic, this is the immigrant dynamic, how they're renting bikes and stuff like that to make a living, and they're making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, did you see the picture I sent you earlier?
Which one? I don't think I saw it. What was it?
The two black guys together.
Oh yeah, I think I did see it. Oh, let me take a
Yeah,
look.
so I'm on a case right now. This woman hired me. She's been married for 20 years to this guy, and he's a gay. He's gay. He's down low on the down low, and I caught him out tonight, two nights in a row, with other men. And to me, when I saw the guy for the first time, I knew he was gay just by looking. He just you can look at the picture I sent you. You'll see what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
saw it, yeah.
He just looked gay. I said, you know what, this woman's right, but she was right, and now she's got a big problem on her hands. She's been married for 20 years. She has children with this guy. This guy's gay as hell.
Someone said MLB busting the gates.
Yeah, man. Like, honestly, man, there's been a number of cases where I've found people, and every time, as if for some reason, there's a big, I don't know, maybe it's just Jackson, but there's been a number of black men who have been caught with other. I think I showed you one about a year ago. I showed you one case. Remember the guys were doing those? They were barbecuing outside or something like that. I showed you the video.
What do
But I
you think
think
that
there's
is? What do you think that is, though, MLB?
I don't know. I think a part of it is there's a part of Jackson, like, which is just south of where I live. It's kind of like it's like the one liberal like section of the city where you'll see people wearing like with like different color hair and shit, and they're very open. So it's like I
But
think
that's
there's a
not these people, though, right? That's not the people you're speaking of, right?
no. I'm saying that it's very like that. For example, that's where I caught the guy tonight in that area. I think there's an area that caters to. It's one of the very few places in Mississippi at all that would even accept homosexuality even a little bit. They're very, very anti all that shit here. But there's one section of the city, very small, but they're very liberal. They accept people. They let gays
What
come
part
to
of
their
what
churches.
part of town is this in Jackson?
It's an area called Fondren. It's where the college. It's like there's two or three colleges there. It's like the college part of the city.
Well, like Jackson State?
No, Jackson State is in the fucking hood, man. That's like in the worst part of the. It's like in one of the worst parts of the city is where Jackson State is. That's down South Jackson. I'm talking about like Mississippi College, Millsaps. There's a couple other schools there.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Jackson State is like is probably that area there is probably one of the worst parts of the entire city.
Is that right?
I mean, it's the last place I'd want to be. Washington Addison, they call it.
Yeah.
It's fucking good. Man, that place has been destroyed, man, by people.
I can only imagine. I had a job offer in what was it down in Biloxi?
Oh, Biloxi's cool. I like down the shore. The shore's cool.
Was it Mississippi Power? I think it was what it was called.
Yeah, no, I I vacation down there all the time. Bay St. Louis, which is right next to Gulfport, Biloxi. Real nice down there.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to work in Mississippi. I like
Yeah,
that.
it's not. It's definitely an acquired taste living here, man. It's like
And I'm
takes a
from
little getting
Alabama,
used to.
I can't do that.
I mean, you're from Alabama, so
Yeah.
it's not a whole lot different. I've worked in Alabama. It's somewhat similar.
So MLB, you had never heard of the Lothrop Solid before?
No, this is the first time I've ever heard that name. No one's ever had a reason to tell me about that.
Anyone in the chat, you never heard of Lothrop Solid before? I think Lothrop Solid hit on a lot of key points.
Yeah, it was on the money.
That is very interesting.
How old is that book?
It's interesting. Let me look it up. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'll look it up. I'm looking for a quote here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay. You see, how old is it? Let me see. Let me see. How old is this book? I don't know. Let's see.
I'm thinking like around 19.
Yeah, maybe early 1900s, something like that.
1930 or 40, I'd say.
Yeah, let me see. There's it's one quote that I want to highlight here. Let's see, where is it? Anyway, it was the one where he said, the underman is often in jail.
Yeah, just one you were telling me about earlier, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is very true in that oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Let me put this on Twitter. All right. Let me put this on Twitter. Yeah, I get you to comment on this MFB. Here it is. Lothrop Solid.
Yeah, maybe Palomino was kind of right, man.
What did he say?
He's put some sick shit, man. Like
Palomino,
the guy had I mean, he's an older man, so his wife is quite a bit older. But for a black woman, she's very very above average. He should be very happy with that.
Let's see. Here it is. Yeah, I gotta get out of here, guys. I'm about fucking drunk. Where is it? I don't know if you can read that. Anyway.
Zoom in a tiny bit, I think we could. A little beyond.
Let's see if there's one.
Okay, yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah. You want to read that?
Yeah, and sooner or later he instinctively says he's a failure, that civilization's prices are not for him. The situation which withholds benefits does not hesitate to impose burdens. We have previously stated that the civilization's heaviest burdens are by the superior. Absolutely, this is true.
Yeah. I gotta get out of here, guys. I'm fucked. This nigga high as a motherfucker, by the way. Let me go fast. I am the nigga, young dog. This high ass nigga.
They don't dance no more. It's all about the lean. Back in the day, crack was jumping on the scene. Now they slumped on the sidewalk. Can't talk. Golden era baby, but we still feel around. They used to be kings, now they lost in the scheme. Popping them bottles, throwing money, and living dreams. Now they sold out and mumbling, fumbling. No rhythm in the city, the whole shit crumbling. They used to rock the house, they was riding through the streets. Remember there was dancing, sliding to the beat. Now it's poison in their veins, ain't no folks on the street. Guess it's over now, they accepted the back in the day. The rock had them wild and free. Different story now, they got no energy. The new drugs got them slow with the hit unload. Eyes closed and they don't dance no more. Block used to be jumping, top shit they was on. Now it's lights out, guess the thrill is gone.
I am the nigga, young dog. I bring it to you rough, rugged, and raw, nigga.
They don't dance no more, it's all about the codeine. Back in the day, they was rocking on the scene. Even dancing in the rain, now they nodding off. Shit just don't hit the same.
I am that nigga, young dog.